down. All right, how y'all doing? Y'all see it? Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. All right. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. This is what came in the mail late last night, and by the time I checked the mail, and yeah, what she said sports.com, and I started something new. Down. I started a hashtag post your. I think it's what she said sports drip. So you can post your what she said sports drip on what she said sports.com hashtag. I'm so excited, y'all. This has been a labor of love. I love the podcast. And now that Shiloh is out and about, now that Shiloh is out and about doing his content thing, and y'all, Shiloh is killing the content game. I think I'm gonna drop something. I think it's, I don't know, we were talking about should it be 28, 21, but I think Shiloh will forever be number 21, right? What do y'all think about that? Let me know. I love Shiloh, and I know he's not playing ball now, and based on some things that happened today in the NFL that have nothing to do with Shiloh, I don't know if he's gonna go back to the game. I posted probably about 2.5 hours ago. I said the NFL is AZZ, right? And then these reports started coming out about different things about the team. And I said, it hasn't even been an hour yet. And this is exactly what I mean. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the NFL world. Y'all know Shedeur is on a bye week. And I was sent, people tagged me in some posts relative to Shedeur. So we're going to talk about what's being said in Cleveland, the latest developments with the Jets, who's going to play, and things of that nature. So welcome. Come on in to What She Said Sports podcast for tonight. And I hope y'all got y'all some snacks. We're going to be in here for a minute. All right. So I don't know who's in the chat, but let me see. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Hey, Gail, how you doing? Hey, Sharon. All right. The squad is in the building. Okay, good. Happy to see everybody. All right. So first and foremost, let's talk about Shiloh. All right. So as y'all may know, Shiloh was in Vegas over the weekend. Now, we knew he would be there for Complex Con. And he did a segment of a podcast with Boogie Cousins called GOAT Talk. And from what I gathered, Coach Prime reached out to Shiloh because Boogie reached out to Coach Prime. And Shiloh was like, Coach Prime was like, yeah, you're a real good dude. He said that's always Coach Prime's stamp of approval. He'll say, yeah, he's a real good dude. So I'm glad Shiloh went, right? I knew he was going to Complex Con anyway. I'm glad he did the GOAT Talk podcast. But in addition to that, he came back with some really good content. And y'all know I said it yesterday. I was excited to see it because I knew it was going to be good. Now, I didn't know who he had run into. Turns out he ran into like Quavo, Sexy Red, I Show Speed, Speedy. He ran into a Big Boy from Big Boy's World. He ran into a lot of hip-hop artists, content creators like yourself. And let me just say this. This is a lane for Shiloh. We know Shiloh is multi-talented, right? But I noticed when I was looking at his videos, right? Like the video I think he did pretending to be Shedeur was like at 600,000. And he has like 230, 240 subs. He's trying to get to 300,000. And I looked at all of his videos and how strong they are with just him, doing his thing. And I said, you know what? Shiloh's already on that echelon content creator level where people are going to want to be featured with him. He actually is the star. Technically, he doesn't need any features in his podcast to make him blow. Like he ran into Keith Lee, the food critic, the social media, he's not really a critic, but y'all know who Keith Lee is. I can't wait to see what they do. Turns out Keith Lee is from Dallas. And Shiloh was like, hey, I want to do like a food thing with you. I'm like, well, both of them being in Dallas. And apparently Keith Lee just moved to Dallas. And Shiloh was like, yeah, that's where we from. So Shiloh was like, I can show you around. Keith Lee and Shiloh doing an episode or two of the foods tour. I think it would definitely blow, right? So shout out to Shiloh. He's already a star. He's already a celebrity. And I know Quavo asked him about, was he still working or was he done? That was the way of asking him. Was he still, I guess trying out for NFL? He said he's still working. I mean, I support him in whatever he does, but he don't need it. He don't need it. But I wouldn't be surprised if a year or two down the line, like they're calling all these other black content creators instead of using their own players. If they're like, Shiloh, come over here. If Shiloh get to 500,000 subs, I can see it. I can see it. He's not even small in my opinion. If you have 230,000 subs, and he was actually doing content while he was in Tampa. Come to find out, it seems official. He said he moving to Miami. So Shiloh will be moving to Miami. So what he definitely got to do is get down to an NBA game with the Miami Heat. So let's play this little clip that I made because I think it's funny. Shiloh is funny naturally without trying, which is why content creation is a wonderful lane for him, and people naturally gravitate towards him and things like that. So let's see. Shiloh was a hit at Complex Con in Vegas this weekend at the same time that Grambling State beat Jackson State, which is Shiloh Sanders alum, and versus Cash Money versus Master P. And some say Master P won, but that's not the point. We'll get back to that. Okay, so Shiloh ran into some of the biggest stars in hip hop, content creation, and sports. And Shiloh, this is your lane, sir. Check out some of the hilarious clips that Shiloh dropped. I could not wait for the video to post on YouTube, and it did not disappoint. Run over there and run Shiloh up to 300,000 views while you're at it so we can get some more of this hilarity from Shiloh Sanders. Take a listen.
So you into collectibles?
Collectibles?
Yeah, sports cards, you know, you collect anything? You know?
I used to collect my dad's old baseball cards, sign them myself, and then sell them at school. Like,
So you
I was supposed to make it, but my parents, they said they don't want me to get a concussion. So,
the thing about football, bro, is like, you're gonna get a concussion every game, bro.
for real?
Yes.
So how many concussions you got? Like 7?
Like, I don't have CT or anything, because I'm still smart.
How do you ascertain if you have CTE? Because you're either smart or you're no longer smart. I don't know. Maybe that's one of the warning signs. But what it proves is that these players know that CTE seems to be an inherent risk of football. And I happen to think that that's one of the reasons why not the Browns, but God is holding Shedeur back, because what happened in the Rams game, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that more on, what's going on in Cleveland, what's being said, because y'all know Shedeur is supposed to play the last 4 games. So there's some other clips I want to share with y'all that I think is funny. Now, I debated over whether to share this one or not, but I mean, hell, Shiloh said it and they shared it and they edited the video and they put it in there. So I think it's fair game, right? I think it's fair game. Let's see so y'all can hear this. Hang tight. This is funny to me. This is the same guy that he's talking to. I don't know who it is, but it's a content creator, and the setup was they were sitting down side by side. When Shiloh walked up, 2 content creators were sitting down side by side, or gamers that were talking, and then Shiloh walks up and they're having a conversation about if the guy in the black is too short to play football. Just check it out.
All right, so I'm NFL size. You're NFL size.
For real?
Yes,
Wait,
bro.
what that mean, gang?
You're good. You can play.
Little. This don't. What position?
NFL size. You can play slot.
Can I play QB?
Dylan Gabriel's your size.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? I was like, okay, wait, let's run that back one more time. I was like, did he really say that? I was like, man. I was like, this is crazy. Shiloh, that's Shiloh though. I know Coach Prime got gray hair solely from Shiloh. Like, see, when Shiloh and Miss Pilar, when Coach Prime and Miss Pilar were married, Coach Prime was, I guess, maybe playing ball, or if he was on the TV circuit or whatever. See, he wasn't at home every day. Miss Pilar was. And I'm sure when Coach Prime retired for whatever he had going on, he found out that his son Shiloh is the headache gang CEO for real. Like, Shiloh is something else. He has no filter. He has no filter. Shedeur don't ever have to say anything. And I told y'all yesterday when we would talk, a day before, when we were talking about that girl that ran up on the family when they were recording, and she was like, I've been looking for you to make sure you stay out of trouble. And I was like, did she really do that? And what did I say? I said, Shiloh turned right to her and said, oh, he don't ever get in trouble. And I told y'all, Shiloh is quick with it. He didn't even need a second to come up with a response. And he basically told her, like, mind your business, basically. That's what he was saying. And I say, Shiloh be trying to tell. That's what he be trying to do. He be trying to tell, like, be telling stuff. And I feel like this tells us that they have had numerous conversations, and the Sanders know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, whether they ever said out loud or not, that they know that Dylan Gabriel is intentionally being used to hold Shedeur back. They know this. They know it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
All right, so I'm NFL size. You're NFL size.
For real?
Yes,
Wait,
bro.
what that mean, gang?
You're good. You can
That mean
play.
I'm little. This don't. What position?
NFL size. You can play slot.
Can I play QB?
Dylan Gabriel's your size.
And then, y'all, and then when they dropped the bomb, I was like, what? But it's true, right? It's true. We got some more to share, right? So there was apparently, I don't know who it was. It was somebody on a show, and I got a summary of what he said, because you know when they're on these big box channels, the content is copyrighted. So this one guy was just saying out loud, he's like, Dylan Gabriel's awful. He's short and he has a noodle for an arm. I was like, what? I don't know who it was, but whoever it was did not hold back. So we're going to take a look at that. But before we get into that, so, you know, there was conversation about whether or not Shadeur Sanders had liked the post about, you know, maybe he should start for the Jets game, right? And I said he liked the post, and people tried to be messy with it and say that Shedeur said that Dylan should be benched. He didn't say that. Shedeur was saying he was happy somebody was advocating for him and he liked the post. Well, today it comes out, apparently, I think Terry on X, somebody tagged me that Mary Cabot is changing her tune about Shedeur and pushing up that Dylan is going to start for the Jets game. Now, I responded to, I think Terry or whoever said it. I said, I'm not surprised by this. I said, because the Browns expect the Jets game is an easy game. And if they don't think the game is easy, I think they will try to rig the game the same way it seems that the Miami game was rigged, right? So it's not up to the coaches whether or not they want to win or lose, because what do we know? Brian Flores and Hugh Jackson both reported they were incentivized to lose. So if Kevin Stefanski, not Kevin Stefanski, but Aaron Glenn might not want to be incentivized to lose, they could go to the players. They could go to the players and get one of them to do what they need to do so that Dylan will look good. Because that's the whole point of having Dylan to play versus the Jets. Not gonna lie, I hope and pray that the Jets win like 42-0. I really do. Because they are intentionally holding Shedeur back, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that Dylan is not that guy. They know that. And what's the point? The point of it all, with what you see happening to Shedeur in Cleveland, is cruelty, humiliation, not devaluing for the sake of, I don't want you to go draft, I don't want you to be traded high. No, for the purposes of cruelty, for the purposes of trying to emotionally and mentally disrupt his ability to be a winning quarterback, to humiliate him. It's the same purpose that Stefanski had in the Rams game. And that takes me to my point, right? While the Browns are gone, they have Mary Cabot out here basically telling you Shedeur's not going to start after it went viral that Shedeur liked a post about him wanting to start. And see how quick they send somebody out to come on. Oh, he can't have his way. No, it's going to be Dylan. The point of it all, what's happening with Shedeur, is cruelty, humiliation. And I heard a few people say they're not going to let Shedeur play. It might be right. I think they're going to come up with a reason that he can't play. I think they're going to make Kevin Stefanski the patsy, and he's going to take pleasure in it, just like he did Saturday, saying, well, I don't think Shedeur can play, and making him inactive. I think the same thing is going to happen, because Kevin Stefanski doesn't think Shedeur belongs. Just like they don't think some Black people belong in their neighborhoods. Kevin Stefanski does not believe, based on his pattern of behavior, egregious behavior, illegal behavior towards Shadeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski doesn't believe Shedeur belongs. So he's trying to antagonize him and do anything and everything to prove his point in front of everybody, which is the humiliation factor. Now, let's be clear. This is on Haslam because Kevin Stefanski is doing Haslam's bidding. Anita Terry sent me a post via email from 2019. It was a video on YouTube that Haslam hired a Black Harvard graduate just like Andrew Berry to be a high-ranking executive in the team. This guy's skin color and Andrew Berry's got to be tit for tat, right? And the disgusting part was it was well known, or it is well known, that Haslam politics aligns with the Republicans or Trump or whatever, right? He's not a Democrat. They said for 8 years he practically complained about Obama. But he chose as a high-ranking executive, a Black Harvard graduate, just like Andrew Berry, same skin tone and everything. This gentleman, and every day or every time he addressed this young man, he addressed him as Obama. He didn't call him by his name. Who else does that? He might not call him by Obama, but he doesn't address Shedeur by name. Kevin Stefanski. That's being dismissive. You got a Black high-ranking Harvard grad, and you can't even be respectful to call him by name. And that's 2019. And it's 2025, and you got yourself another Black Harvard grad who could pass the paper bag test, which makes me question if his disdain for Shedeur is due to the melanin. Yeah, we've talked about that. You keep getting Black people that you can stand because in your eyes, they passed the paper bag test, that they aren't the browner skinned African Americans, but you humiliate them too. If you complain about Obama for 8 years and you can't even address this executive that you paying all this money to by his name, you're disrespecting him. And to call him Obama when you clearly have disdain for Obama, why the hell did you hire him? For melanin's sake? The shade of melanin that you could stand? That's who Haslam is. So understand that Kevin Stefanski thinking Shedeur doesn't belong is not a coincidence. He was hired to gatekeep what the players, who they are on the team, how Black the team becomes. Remind you, he's not the GM. So what does that tell you about Andrew Berry's real power if Stefanski drafted Dylan and the Browns sent Berry out there to refute what the Giants were saying about Coach Prime, to say, yeah, we don't have a problem with Coach. We don't think Coach Prime would be a problem at all. Right, because they weren't going to never get Shedeur. So they're playing in his face too. And I mean Berry, just like they played in the Obama guy's face. And mind you, they interviewed the man about it, right? Sasha, they interviewed him. And he said he wasn't offended by it, but does that mean it wasn't racist? No. They could go up to Shedeur and ask him the same thing, and he could, out of pressure, say no. Does that mean you're not racist? So Haslam is not off the hook. And I happen to believe that because Shedeur is a browner skinned Black person, they are abusing him and have no problem with him being hurt. They do not want a Black quarterback long term to lead this team to victory. The ones that they have had either went 0-15 and were left to rot in front of 64,000 fans for 15 weeks. That's Haslam's doing because Stefanski wasn't there. This is why I say Huntington Bank and Bud Light needs to divest immediately from the Browns due to this egregious, openly racist behavior of the owner. And as a Black woman, to know that you only hire Black people who can pass a paper bag test and you choose to abuse them too, tells me that you would never have Shadeur Sanders be your Black quarterback leading your team. You can't even stand to have a fully melanated Black executive. Their wives got to be white, or they got to be so light that you're not really sure if they Black. You can't, they're not obviously Black. They're ambiguously Black. It's enough. They appear Black enough so you could say you're not racist, but in fact you are. That's why your team is trash, because you're more worried about paying fully melanated, brown skin, beautifully melanated Black men triple digit millions or double digit millions. And even when you get somebody who could pass a paper bag test, you humiliate them too. Where y'all think the narrative is coming from about Myles Garrett being traded? Stefanski? No. Haslam. Why? Because I guess he talked back. I guess you're not supposed to let people know what's really going on. To hell with you. That's why I call for a divestiture from Huntington Bank and Bud Light. In fact, I saw Budweiser advertise, and if they belong together, I said in the comment, you need to divest from the Browns immediately. This is in your face, overt racism. And let me clarify something. I said yesterday, there are people speculating, right? What's going on with Shedeur? And I said, you're part of the problem if you're out here speculating when you know for a fact he's being discriminated. That's like walking past a house that's on fire. It's in flames, right? And you rather stand there and go, I wonder how the fire started. Does it matter? Or you going to help put the fire out? That's exactly what I meant. So today somebody came to the comments and said, girl, they just trying to get the first pick in the draft. Let me be very, very clear. The Browns have already secured the first pick in the 2026 draft. When they traded the number 2 overall pick that they were supposed to use for Shedeur for Jacksonville to get Travis Hunter. What you think they got exchanged for Travis Hunter, the Heisman? The number 1 pick in the 2026 draft. So that's BS. That's the type of thing that people say to make up an excuse so they don't have to do nothing. And then when they see somebody demanding accountability, they feel guilty inside for standing there watching a house on fire, being more worried about why it caught on fire than putting out the fire. So you come on this page, you wasting your time thinking you're going to tell me that the Browns are dehumanizing Shadeur Sanders because they want the number 1 pick. They already have the number 1 pick. That's what people do when they don't want to put out the fire. They go and try to convince somebody that's doing something meaningful to put the fire out, to try to convince them to stop trying to put the fire out. And these are people that claim to be Shadeur Sanders supporters, and some are friends. So in addition to Shedeur learning about the culture in the NFL that he maybe have not known to this extent, the culture in Cleveland, and I doubt he knew that at all. Not like what we're seeing, because I damn sure didn't know that. And learning that the draft wasn't about his father and that he's not being held back because of his father. He's also learning who his friends are and who his friends are not, who his supporters are and who his supporters are not. So let's take a look at what's going on in the NFL world that's going to prove my point when I say the NFL is AZZ. Meaning, when we talk about something on this podcast, I want y'all to understand something. We're not light years ahead of people, but we are weeks, if not a month or 2 or 3, maybe a whole season ahead of people. Why? Because most people don't really know what's going on. And a lot of times they hop on these apps They ill-informed, uninformed, don't check, don't know, haven't researched. They don't have an inch worth of the information that we discuss. So that's why we're ahead. Just like now, people are starting to realize that Haslam is a problem. How long have we been saying that? People are starting to realize the Stefanski doesn't like Shedeur. How long have we been saying that? That they're intentionally holding Shedeur back. We've been saying that since minicamp. What have they wanted to believe? That's the question. When you see something happening right in front of your face, why are you trying to convince yourself it's not what it is? That's exactly how slavery lasted for 400 years. Oh, well, they must have brought this on themselves. Explain it. Because as dehumanizing as it was, 400 years, it was a lot of people walking around just, yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know these people. Maybe this they fault. You know, I don't know them. Yeah, 400 years. It took the Civil War to bring it to an end, and Texas still decided they wanted another crop. And then after Black people became free, they made their lives hell because they was mad they free, and in 2025 they still mad they free. And it seems like the NFL is one of those bastions, the remnants of slavery with its race norming. I don't want 17 to 32 Black quarterbacks. I don't want 18, 19, 20. I don't want Black quarterbacks' athleticism to make them become the majority of the starting quarterbacks. So I just go with mediocrity instead. Okay. And that is why the NFL is AZZ. That's exactly it. So let's see if I can add this back, and we're going to go to where I was earlier today, because I curated some things for us to talk about. Basically, that's what I'm saying. All right. So this, first and foremost, the NFL is AZZ. This is right here. It says, let me make sure y'all can see my page. Okay, y'all can. Make that smaller. All right, so y'all can see. It says right here. Now remember, the New York Jets are 1-7. They just won their first game. They have the Browns up next, and the Browns think they're going to win. If they are confident that they will win, it's because the owners have worked it out behind the scenes and rigged it. I don't care what nobody say. That's what it is. And listen to this. A 1-17 has the audacity to come out and say that for the 2026 season, the owners of the Jets is raising prices. The prices for next year going up for a 1-7 team. What the hell are you basing that on? Because when you run a business, you base it on people's interest in your product. So what the Jets owner is asserting is that I'm going to raise the prices even though we trash, and y'all still going to show up anyway. Y'all better stay the hell home and turn the TV off, because that's crazy. But it's not crazier than what the hell Jerry Jones said today. Jerry Jones told you exactly what we've been saying, what Des Bryant said and caught a lot of flack for. He just admitted it today. I'm like, oh, they don't care at all about the fans. It's not just the Browns. It's the Jets too. I'm like, y'all got a good time. And then the Saints want to bench Spencer Rattler, who was doing okay over there, despite what he had to work with. And I say, you know what? Who that nation? Hashtag who that? Stay home, turn the TV off. Because they don't even care about the fans. They just letting it all hang out. This is the year the NFL basically is saying out loud, we don't care about y'all. We don't even care if you don't even come to the stadium. Because we know you're going to watch it on TV. Hashtag turn the TV off. Hashtag stay home. You got to be crazy out of your mind. But you know what? The Chicago Sky did the same thing. They were already sorry. And then they raised their prices for 2025. And then they act like Angel wasn't anybody of a factor to the team till somebody got injured. Then she got the opportunity, which is what it's going to take for Shedeur. That's the only way he's going to get out there. Because if he voluntarily get out there for the last 4 games, you better look for him to be injured. They are not trying to allow Shedeur to ball out. And it's not about pride. They do not want a Black franchise quarterback long term. And although they seem to ignore their fans and don't give a damn what they want and don't care whether they win or lose for their fans, best believe if Shedeur get out here and ball out, whether it's the Jets whether it's the Ravens, the fans not going to want to let go of Shedeur. And the Browns ownership and the other 31 owners, they don't want nobody telling them what to do. They billionaires. You're not going to tell me what to do. This is my team. They treat the team like it's an article of clothing and you trying to take a day safety blanket. But then they don't care about the team. Why? Because they got the Colts owner out here running on the field with a notepad and everybody's talking about, ooh, ah. See, this is what you need. An owner that really cares about the team and know what's going on. I'm like, I see the play. I see the play. 32 owners passed on Shedeur and took him off the board. Oh, yeah, they don't really know what's really be going on with the teams. That's the play. That's the play, ladies and gentlemen. The owners don't really know what's going on with the teams, so they didn't take Shedeur off the board, or they were lied to by somebody who hadn't been fired yet, and that's it's not on they, it's not them, it's not their fault. There is absolutely no excuse out here that if it made it to a court of law that would agree that the owners had every right to devalue a $46 million Black quarterback that was supposed to go to a team that has never had a Black quarterback drafted in the first round where Shedeur was going. So all of this is just a ruse, ladies and gentlemen. All of it, including probably to raise the price. So before I have to pay a fine, let me just raise the price. Remember, the NFL sent out Shadeur Sanders' phone number. There's a fine that comes with that. And we have heard nothing about it. Nothing. So like most corporations, they haven't paid the fine yet. They hadn't been assessed the fine yet. Or are they going to run out here and socialize the fine, raise the prices so they can all chip in and pay it? All of this. Oh, yeah. It's nice to see an owner that knows what's going on and cares about the team, because it's going to absolve those that colluded against Shedeur. They're going to have to answer for that one day. It ain't going to just sit and stall forever. And I've said that the NFL selling off its network to ESPN and maintaining a 10% share, or getting a 10% share, and ESPN had a lot and everything to do with Discovery. Because if the NFL does no longer own the NFL network, then how am I going to get that Discovery? Because ESPN wasn't a part of the collusion. There's a lot happening here. What did DeMaurice Smith say in the summary yesterday? They're more ruthless off the field. People are getting ready to lose their snap assistants, and this man is running out here with a team that is 1-7. With all the arrogance in the world, I'm going to raise the prices. Good. Then be out there by your damn self. Hashtag turn the TV off. Like, when y'all going to get tired of this? Because this is crazy. It's like everybody want to show they hind parts. All right. Because if it were up to me, would nobody be out there at all? Period. Because for what? To see the Browns have to give in, to see the Jets have to give in to the Browns. Let's see what happened. I'm not watching it. I haven't even watched the highlights to this point. I'm not watching the highlights. If you want to know what's going on, go to one of these content creator pages out here and listen to them talk about it, instead of you watching it and you watching it and you watching it and you watching it. Just go see what one person said and watch and talk about that and get the info from that. Don't give these people your time. These people are basically thumbing up their nose in the face of the fans. This is the arrogance that goes before the fall, because you got to be out of your pea-sized brain mind to run out here and say you're going to have the audacity to raise prices for next year. And you're not even good this year, and you weren't good last year or the year before that or the year before that. You don't even have a product to offer. All they're doing is giving people somewhere to go. I'm sure you could go to a mall for that. Just go to the mall for 3 hours. Go to the food court. Buy something from somewhere to eat. If you just want to be somewhere for 3 hours. This is ridiculous. And it says right here, it said the players graded in a survey. The players always take a survey at the end of the year, which they don't care about that either. It said the Jets players graded Woody in F this past season, which means he's a horrible owner. but yet he want to run out here and raise the prices. I hope he out there by himself. I really do. Somebody that I follow all the time and repost content on X, she said the lies keep piling up. It said every team that passed on Shedeur is struggling now. It said funny how the Browns only had $19 million in cap space during the draft and couldn't afford the projected top QB, which is Shedeur. It said, yet somewhere, somehow, he slipped to the 5th round for them to grab. Right. It's not a coincidence. And we've said that. I said it. I said Shedeur was intentionally devalued. He was baited and switched by the time they got to the draft, but he was targeted. He was targeted when he became the #1 player coming out of college in October. And that's why he got cheated out of the Haslam, because they knew they were going to send him to the Browns. They knew the plan was going to be to ice him out and to make him fall so they could get him at a deep discount, which Andrew Berry has said multiple times. We got him at a deep discount. And his only purpose is supposed to be draft capital. But they could change their minds. And next year, he'd be sitting right there on that bench. Or they could waive him like Carolina Panthers did Cam Newton and say, we can't find nobody for you, and just kick him out. As long as he got that $15 million for them jerseys, cool. Because I would have loved to have seen Shedeur at Comic-Con. Shedeur is missing more money by being in the NFL on the bench. Just like Shilo would be missing this money being in the NFL on the practice squad. Shilo got 3-4 people rolling around with him. They're not rolling around with him for free. He can afford to pay them. This is a better lane, in my opinion. So they're talking about Shiloh's homie's face when Shilo said, you're Dylan Gabriel's size. Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was funny. Now, it says right here, this is the guy I was telling y'all. I don't know who this is. He said, who is this? He said, who was that? Chris Canty. Y'all must know who Chris Canty is if you follow some of these shows. He said, Dylan is absolutely awful. A QB that is small. He lacks escapability, something Shedeur actually has and is good at. And he's got a noodle arm. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Coach Prime being on Bourbon Street Super Bowl weekend with ESPN, and he had the almonds. He was sitting on the desk all the way to the left, and Cam was like to the right. And Stephen A was talking about, he said, look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to address some things that they're saying could cause Shedeur to fall in the draft. They always knew Shedeur was going to be pushed down. He didn't fall, right? But to negate his draft stock. They always knew they were going to push him down, and it didn't matter how it happened. They had already had the plan. So he said, one of the things they're talking about Shedeur is that he doesn't have escapability. He's not mobile. That's what it was. They say he has no mobility. He just stands in the pocket and throws. I'm like, excuse me? Coach Prime says Shedeur has tremendous escapability. That's one of his best assets. Fact, you can't get sacked 52 times, still put up over 4,000 yards and win the Johnny Unitas Award and not have escapability. In other words, everything that this man is saying right here, they tried to say about Shedeur, especially the escapability part. I don't think they ever said anything about his height, but they did say something about his arm. Remember, his arm was weak. He lacked mobility. These are the things they said about Shedeur, but it's true about Dylan. And what it should go to prove to you is that Haslam let Stefanski, who's the head coach, pick who he wants and not the GM, who's black, and that's Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry was on the path seemingly to get Shedeur. Now, I've said it. I have no idea how long Andrew Berry knew that they were going to devalue Shedeur. I don't know if he figured that out on draft day, but he told us. Andrew Berry told us a lot. He said, we live by our draft board. So that means he wasn't on your draft board. That's why you didn't draft him, because he wasn't on your draft board. Or did you already have him on your draft board at 144 in anticipation? But Adam Schefter came out and told us no, because he was supposed to, Baltimore called him, right? That's what they saying. So either they trying to cover up that he was always going to be 144. But remember, Andrew Berry traded up instantly, 2 picks. Look how frustrated they looked. I happen to believe Andrew Berry was kept out of the loop for a minute. Just like he didn't pick Dylan Gabriel. They let Stefanski pick who he want over the GM. Because they knew Stefanski was going to be a faithful servant and hold Shedeur back. So basically, they don't respect any Black Harvard grad that has ever worked there in 2019 or Andrew Berry right now. And people want to know why they don't see him. The last thing Andrew Berry should have ever done was lure Shedeur to Cleveland, knowing Cleveland's history when it comes to Black quarterbacks in the first round. They have never had one, and they don't want one. And the fault that I lay at his feet is because he joined the circus on day 3 post-draft. It was like, well, yeah, I mean, he has a retro style of quarterbacking, but your dumb ass was going to go out here and pay him $46 million. So your boss threw you under the bus and said you made a mistake with Deshaun Watson, which is a lie. And that meant he threw 2 Black men under the bus. Hashtag blame the Black guy. That's all that's happening right now. So for this Black guy to speak up, let's see how long before people turn on him. Let's see if he lose his job. He on ESPN, so you would think he was safe, right? All right, we're going to see. We're going to see, because Chris Canty's saying that Dylan is awful, that he's undersized, which is something that can't be fixed. He lacks the escapability, which he's not going to ever be good. And he's got a noodle arm. He's not an NFL caliber QB. So in 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points, he's basically saying somebody over in the Browns organization either don't know what they're doing, because they should have never drafted Dylan. The Browns took a big swing and missed with Dylan. Now let's see who's going to be held accountable. So they were talking about Michael Parsons, right, in Dallas, because I told y'all Jerry Jones had something to say today. And again, these owners, they don't care. I think they don't even care if you show up at this point. To say some of the things they saying and raising the prices and they not good, they want the money from TV. They don't even care about the stadium. And it wouldn't surprise me if one of them try to say, I don't even want another stadium. Just go watch it on TV and let me get my half of $1 billion check off of TV, because that's what's going to happen by the time they get to the halftime show. See, Bad Bunny doing the halftime show, that's global too, just like Kendrick Lamar. So they're going to run it back with 133 million viewers, 188 million viewers. And that check going to go up from 450 to 500 million. I don't care if you don't come to the stadium. But hey, if you do, you're going to pay more for it. Because they want to offset, they don't even want the cost of the overhead of the stadium no more. At all. They don't care. So you crazy if you go out there, especially in the dead of winter, or at all, to be honest. So they were talking about Michael Parsons. It said he did fine. He reported to camp. He did everything right until he started getting disrespected publicly by Jerry Jones. Now, why am I putting that up there? Because that's all that's happening. Jerry Jones disrespected Dak. Jerry Jones disrespected Michael Parsons. The Browns disrespected Shedeur. The Saints disrespecting what's his name? Spencer Rattler. And the Titans disrespected Cam Ward. Let's see how long. Well, we know the Jets owner already disrespected. So that means the Browns gonna win the game. I forgot the Jets owner, this Woody guy, he already disrespected Justin Fields after Justin Fields said, he used the opportunity to preach the word of God while he on the bench. In other words, I ain't gonna go over here and cry. God brought me in here, so I must have a purpose, and I'm gonna exercise that purpose while I'm on the bench. Yes, the same owner that's raising prices basically trashed his quarterback, Justin Fields. So if the Browns win, don't be surprised, because that's supposed to stick it to Justin Fields. So there you go. That's the game. Let's see what happens. And if Dylan can't win, oh Lord, because I'm pretty sure the owner would like nothing more than to control the outcome of the game of his own quarterback that he just threw under the bus and trashed because he chose to dedicate his life to God, and to let Dylan win, which would also hold back Shedeur from playing. Yep. So basically, what you're seeing around the league, in addition to blame the black guy, hashtag disrespect the black guy. You don't hear them talking about JJ McCarthy like this. For 6 years that Daniel Jones was there, they didn't talk about him. Nobody's talking about firing Daboll for being the reason supposedly Daniel Jones was trash. They had the audacity to put out a post today that asked, yesterday they asked, or day before, should Justin Fields be traded to the Minnesota Vikings? I said no. Justin Fields is a starter and too elite to be behind JJ McCarthy, because that's where you're going with this. Now, today, should Shadeur Sanders be traded to Minnesota? I said no. Send Mac Jones to Minnesota. He's a better fit, because they ain't going to do that. You see how they keep trying to send the black quarterback to Minnesota behind JJ McCarthy so he don't play? So we got owners with losing teams raising prices. We got Jerry Jones out here disrespecting Michael Parsons and Dak. We have the Browns owners, Haslam, disrespecting Shedeur, enlisting Stefanski and allowing Stefanski to abuse Shedeur. They already have the number 1 pick. In fact, they have 2 first-round picks. So stop speculating. Put the fire out. Hashtag turn the TV off. No, Shedeur should not be traded behind JJ McCarthy. And there was a conversation that took place today. Somebody tagged me in it. And I said, this conversation is disingenuous. The conversation was had on 92.3, I think the station up there in Cleveland, where supposedly one guy was arguing with the other one about Shedeur. And I said, the whole damn conversation is disingenuous, because the guy, the heavyset guy, was trying to say, well, I want to see Shedeur play. I'm curious. What the hell are you curious about? Shedeur already proved himself. See, that's the play. Well, you know, we need to see what Shedeur can do. You know what Shedeur can do. That's to negate his performance in the Carolina Panthers game, so he has no trade value. These people know what they're doing. They're playing good cop, bad cop. I've said it before. Any radio station, anything coming out of there, they all pretended to say, when you say out loud, you're advocating for Shedeur to play because we've seen what Dylan can do. Now we need to see what Shedeur can do. That's disingenuous and dishonest, because you knew what Dylan could do, because he's done the same thing since rookie minicamp. Failed. And as somebody pointed out yesterday, Dylan bombed against Ohio State, and Cleveland is in Ohio. And most of them are Ohio State fans. So how they don't know that Dylan is not an NFL caliber QB? They do. They don't care. They don't want to say we racist out loud and don't want Shedeur to lead our team. We don't want to be famous with Shedeur. We want to be famous with the Mannings. So let them have it. Start your own hashtag. Hashtag start your own. Because from where I'm looking at, with this next comment about Jerry Jones, you ain't going to have much anyway. You got an owner out here raising prices, and they not good. And then you got Jerry Jones over here. Jerry Jones basically, and people have confirmed that this actually was said. It said the Dallas Cowboys' Jerry Jones turned his team into the world's most valuable sports franchise. But when he rides in his helicopter over this rural stretch of East Texas, he said he sees his best investment ever, the making of a major natural gas province. If you don't know, Jerry Jones is oil and gas. That's how he got the money. He borrowed a whole lot of money in his youth to strike oil in these oil derricks, right? To buy derricks to get oil out the ground. So he was fishing for oil, and he hit. And that's how he got the money to buy the Dallas Cowboys. It said Jones has poured more than $1 billion into a natural gas driller, Comstock Resources, $1 billion, betting it can drill some of the hottest, deepest wells in the U.S. and unleash a torrent of new gas supplies. So Jerry Jones, just like he did before he bought the Cowboys, he's betting big time. I think back then he was $800,000 in debt for a young man in his 20s, and people kept lending him the money, and he hit. So now I think the Cowboys are worth 14 billion. So he's taken a billion of his own money or somebody's money. And he's doing the same thing, but this time he's looking for to create like a natural gas supply, basically. So he's looking in the earth for the earth's treasures, this time at a $1 billion investment. And he'll go to 2 billion if he think it's down there, because something must make him think it's down there. The question is, do they drill? Are they drilling in the right place, or are they drilling deep enough? So it said, Comstock says it is set up just to do that. It has trumped hellish geology and cranked out dozens of gushers. It has also gone on a stealthy land grab and controls a large chunk of the region it calls Western Haynesville. Translation, they've been running around buying up land because they believe they're somewhere in the proximity of this new, what would be a new natural gas supply. It said, as a result, it says it is gearing up to pump enough fuel to help meet the soaring needs of exporters. This is for people to export fuel, not for use in the U.S. This is to go to Venezuela or to Russia, to China, or wherever, whoever the hell needs fuel. It said data centers and heavy industries for years to come. Now he's 88, right? So he's doing this, and this will be his legacy to his family, basically. Now listen to this. It says, now Jones says it's payday. It said there's $100 billion of present value with gas out there, which means he already know it's out there. They have already guesstimated the value at 100 billion. So remember, he invested 1 billion to get 100 billion. Just like Haslam supposedly wrote a check or donated 1 million to get 600 million. It take money to make money, right? So it said, oh, he's 83. It said the 83-year-old billionaire said in an interview, that's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys. So listen to this one more time. Did you read the whole thing? It said, now Jerry Jones says it's payday. It said there's $100 billion of present day value with gas out there. The 83-year-old billionaire said in an interview, that's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. They do not care. They do not care. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They don't care, bro. Jerry Jones is chasing $100 million buried down in the earth. He could give 2 flips about the Dallas Cowboys defense, but is he going to sell the team? Because it's worth 14 billion. And I probably could be using house money and don't say nothing. You see? Now, what was his name? The guy that played for Dallas, everybody liked him. He said this years ago. They don't care about winning. I forget his name. I forgot his name, but he and his mom got into it in Walmart parking lot. Whoever that is. People said they try to run him off. They said this, but he played for the Cowboys. He knew what the motive was. If you own the ground and you work for a corporation and you see every day what they prioritize, you know what the motive is. I said this about the Cowboys. Once they got the star, the team became a petty zoo. All they have to do at this point is keep you coming to the games to make $110 million to make sure they can cover the expenses to pay these players, to pay, I think, operations, $90 million in operations, maybe it could be $300 million in payroll, depending on the team. Like y'all pointed out to me, Cleveland paying for quarterbacks that don't even play there no more. So Cleveland's operating expenses or payroll for the team could be $300 million, whereas Jerry's could be slim because he might not be paying nobody else, right? So they all playing the same game. I already read years ago. They all want a star. Why is it they want the star? For the same reason Jerry was on the phone talking about $100 million, $100 billion, billion, B, 100 a B, $100 billion buried in the ground. It's more important for me to go look for that than it is to worry about this defense, which means he don't even care about the petty zoo no more. I got the star. And that's what Haslam is trying to get. And Haslam is trying to get the Manning name to attach to his star in Cleveland so the fans will run out there with their pennies and spend money over there, which means I don't care about this, but I'm not going to let it go. It's the same thing with Shedeur. They don't care about Shedeur. They don't even want Shedeur to play. I don't want you to help me make no money. But do they want to let him go? No. It's the same principle. I know you're a cash cow. I'm not going to let you go nowhere else, but I'm not about to let you be successful here either. That's evil. That's evil. And we were talking about this before I went live. I said, oh, they just going to burn it all down. See, I can't stop these black quarterbacks and these black players and black culture from taking over the league. I can't. And I can make money elsewhere. Jerry Jones can get it out the earth. Haslam wants the star. There are other teams that want the star. When the star is not enough, he gonna be somewhere digging in the earth too. If he not, he might already be. He might have traded in his family's truck stops for a pipeline somewhere to dig in the earth. When you have the ability to export over $100 billion in natural gas supply to another country, you do not care about what the hell is happening on a football field. But you're not going to let it go because you want to control what happens to it when you're done with it. That's like being in an abusive relationship. I've said it before. Black NFL quarterbacks are in an abusive relationship with the NFL. I've said that multiple times, and now you see it with Shedeur. And if you pay attention holistically, it's happening to all 16, with maybe the exception of Jordan Love. But let's see if Aaron Rodgers gets his wish and can boot Jordan Love out the way. Then that's 16. I don't know what the hell next year's draft gonna look like where black quarterbacks are concerned. But I was happy to see Kato Salter getting his social media. He got a media team now. And they doing content and all. Yeah, because that's what you're gonna need to do. If you going to college, you better start your senior year in high school working on your content and turning yourself into a brand. If you a black quarterback, honestly, that's what you need to do. I don't even care what position you play. Because if they didn't give a damn about Michael Parsons, are they really going to give a damn about Jordan Seaton? Let's be honest. I'm not going to be nowhere around the 2026 draft. I'm going to be somewhere doing something else. I'm not watching that because we know what it is. When you have been shown the reality on how bad something is for you and you keep trying to get it, God going to let you have what you want. That's where regret comes from. Rather than starting your own. When Shilo, if you go watch his video, there were people asking him to play one-on-one. He better go do it. He better go do it because that's what you need to do. Because when you hear the most powerful owner on the planet of a sports franchise, Jerry Jones is the most powerful owner of a sports franchise on this planet, not giving a damn about the competitive sport that is supposed to be the priority, the rest gonna do what he does because Haslam already trying to be Jerry Jones. If it comes out that Haslam owns some oil rigging, oil drilling, whatever, because he's trying to be Jerry Jones. And he don't want to give a damn about the Browns. And I'm going to leave that to Kevin Stefanski. It appears that it's in the hands of Andrew Berry in our sports group, but it's really Stefanski. So Andrew Berry got some wrongs to make right where Shedeur is. He need to pull a Ozzie Newsome and trade Shedeur somewhere, whether they give a damn about it or not. He might not even be able to do that at this point. But in the draft, he could have. He could have. So, I'm happy Shedeur is on the bye week. I don't know if he in Cleveland or not. He young, so he could be still up there. I don't know, right? I don't know if Coach Prime gonna ever make it a game or not, because Colorado got to focus on their own, right? A lot of people don't seem to believe that there's anything left to the season. People are saying the coaching has been bad for Colorado. Oh, I know who it was. It was the one that's always on Emmanuel Acho, trashing the coaching at Colorado, which people felt like he don't know enough to know what's really going on, right? Meaning you trying to say, I think he actually used Coach Prime's name and said he hasn't been good since he been at Colorado, and people didn't like that, right? And they were like, the team was 1-11, and he at least went 9-4. And what do we know? We know that it's some foul stuff going on. He don't know nothing about none of that, but he's still flapping his gums, which is why people over there are telling him to shut up. So a lot of people feel like there's not left. I hope in my heart that he gets next year, because otherwise they just trying to ruin his reputation. And they did exactly what I said they did. They took him from JSU knowing full well to disrupt what was going on over there, knowing full well that he didn't have a long-term future over here, because they've been setting him up from within the whole time. The way he defeated it last year was Shedeur. Even with Travis, with Shedeur not being a quarterback, Travis would not be the Haslam. And it's not about Travis's talent. It's about Shedeur being who he is and having the ability to overcome Pat Schumer. We don't see that happening right now. On either side of the ball, these kids can't seem to overcome Pat Schumer and the defensive coordinator. We watched them overcome Pat Schumer. But not now. They done turned it up a notch. They let you see you got to overcome Pat Schumer and the defensive coordinator. Now, that's wrong to do that to those kids' futures, but they don't care. And that's the lesson for Coach Prime about who you have around you, who you bringing in, your trusted circle. Because he keep getting stabbed in the back by his trusted circle. And if it's happening in the football world, where else is it happening in his life? Let's just be real, right? The NFL that he lauded so much. Nothing even y'all already know. Then we got these NFL coaches, coordinators. So who knows what else, what other area of his life that his trusted circle is betraying him in. That's a lesson there. Because Colorado showed who they were where black quarterbacks, black head coaches were concerned. They did. If I can look it up, then other people can look it up too. They don't get but 2-3 years max. Coach Prime is the longest tenure, which means he wasn't supposed to make it past next year. That was Shedeur. And it also shows you how evil the Browns are, because they have a winner and they know it. That's why they're working so hard to hold him back. So I'm happy to see Shilo get out here and show everybody that thinks they need the NFL. You don't need the NFL. I'm happy to see Caden got his media team together. First, I saw Draylon with an endorsement from Rag & Bone, which is a high-end brand. Now, Caden got the same endorsement. So they're getting upscale endorsements to come in Colorado. Maybe that's Coach Prime business partner. I don't know. I have to think it is. It's nice to see, if it is, that she can be effective in that way for the players and not just Coach Prime, right? Because she was the one that helped Coach Prime, help Travis get the endorsement for Adidas. So now it seems that if that is her, if she's the one that's still initiating these deals and they have signed with her, then she helping these players get some upscale endorsements. So all they need to do now, in addition to getting their media going, and it's late, but go ahead. It ain't never too late, but it is late. It's just not too late. That means that maximize your college experience. Get the bag while you in college. And figure out what to do with your degree and something else. You can have a career in sports. You can open a whole sports stat company, because it's not enough for them out here. It's not enough. I don't see no black people in the space of putting out stats I would like to see that. It's enough software out there for it. That needs to happen. It's so many different pillars in sports that you could work in. Go be a lawyer and be sports management and help, but become the next Clutch Sports 2.0. It's too many things you could be doing other than begging to be included in a space that would rather hurt you than allow you to contribute to their bottom line. Once you know what it is, you just making choices after that. So Shilo did a lot of good going to Vegas and letting everybody see him thrive without the NFL. Hopefully his younger brother is taking note, because y'all know if Shedeur was over there in Vegas, they both could have went over there to the Jackson State game. They talking about how Michael Vick's team had for homecoming had 49,000 people show up. There's some other NFL in HBCU games with these 60,000 and 40,000 numbers. You see what I'm saying? You got an audience. Start your own. You can't be scared forever. Hell, they don't even care about it no more. So you free to do it. Because if you was worried about what they was gonna do to you, they don't even care about the football no more. They out there digging in the ground. When you say something like that out loud and you drafted players to your team, you know how reckless that is with your words to put that in public space? They don't care. So now you're going to have guys going, well, let me just get my bag and get the hell on. You could get a bag another way. You got to have some dignity. You got to have some pride. You can't want to go pinch off of the racist pile and allow yourself to be degraded rather than think for yourself to go do something for yourself, because that's exactly what they think about you. That's what white benevolence is. Oh, they're not going to ever be successful without us. That's why they're not scared of you starting your own league, because they don't think you have enough wherewithal to do it. And I'm not saying do it to spite them, but if you really love the game of football, then you should already be talking about getting it done, because they are killing it. Starting with mediocrity, starting with the draft not being about talent. They just lighten the match to it slowly so you don't have nothing. And I've said this before, start your own. Because if you wait until they start a G League, that's where you're going to be. Because who going to check me, boo? All right, so let me hop over here into the comments and see what y'all saying. 259 of us. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hey, Titus, how you doing? It said, hey, sister, I can't wait until your show. And Shedeur is being treated like he's unwanted. Facts. A lot of people are pointing out how they treat Shedeur like he doesn't belong. I'm like, because they don't want him to belong. So yeah, that's facts. The question is, what you gonna do about it? Your talking points, your conversation is stay home, turn the TV off to everybody that you talk to about this topic, because we all know that how many times have y'all heard me say Kevin Stefanski and the Browns show Shedeur every day that he's not valued, that he's not wanted. Tony Grossi has said this out loud on that radio station. That Stefanski doesn't value Shedeur as a quarterback. Neither does Jimmy Haslam. So stay home and turn the TV off. If you got to get your football fix, go watch another team. If you're a Colorado player, we got other players in the league. Go support them. That's what I do. And lately, I don't even know if I've been doing that, because I'm just disgusted with the whole thing. And yeah, I'm a sports channel. And yeah, I primarily talk about football. But you best believe I'm going to figure out how to talk about it without talking about patronizing the Browns. You best believe that. I don't even watch their highlights. I really don't give a damn what they talking about over there, because they all dishonest. They standing there watching Shedeur be abused. And then on this side, people that supposedly support Shedeur, like I said, they walk by, see the house on fire, and want to know, they want to talk more about why the hell the house caught on fire than actually putting the goddamn fire out. All of it's disgusting to me. Both sides. So I was happy to see Shiloh's video. Yesterday, I asked for it. I got what I asked for. So I celebrate that. And then I'm sharing the state, so you can know for yourself, so you can make an informed decision before you either spend your money or spend your precious time that you can't get back to watch this crap. If it's happening in Dallas, whether it's Michael Parsons or Dak. And it's happening to Shedeur, whether it's Myles Garrett or Shedeur. And it's happening with the Jets organization and the Saints. And it's happening with the Titans. And they hating on Jalen Hurts. But they are constantly pushing up, what's his name? Josh Allen. I can never remember his name. And I like Josh Allen. But he ain't Lamar Jackson. He's not better than Jalen Hurts. Well, they going to snatch Jalen Hurts MVP and give it to Josh Allen next? Or they going to snatch it and give it to Daniel Jones? A black quarterback would never get 6 years to prove himself. And he surely wouldn't get incentivized financially to do it. And then the moment that he does it, you know what they would say? The same thing they're going to say about Shedeur if he beat the Jets. That's just one game. We haven't seen enough. That's why I said the conversation on that radio station is disingenuous. It's dishonest. Well, I'm curious to see what Shedeur could do. You already saw it. 2.5 million saw the highlights. 1.9 million saw it live. That's damn near 5 million people have seen Shedeur ball out. And they want to sit up there and be dishonest and pretend like I'm demanding to see what he can do instead of being honest and calling the truth and saying, he's good. He proved it already in the Panthers game. Put him out there. Why they just don't do that? Because they don't want him to be out there. They just want some shit to talk about. So I'm aware of it all. I'm aware, fully aware. Hey, everybody. Hey. Good evening. It said you heard Deion Sanders are gone with, What you say, John? It said you heard Deion, the Sanders are going to be good without football. Right. And Shiloh proved that. I'm so happy. And I know Shiloh did that for himself or whatever. He was invited to do this or whatever. And I knew he was going to be there. Right. But I want y'all to know, all of these kids out here that want to go to the league and all of the kids that got waived from the league. I don't know if Terrell Owens' son got picked up. Jerry Rice's son, Brenda Rice. I don't know. They gave him a tryout. I don't know, You see how they trashing all the wide receivers? Instead of saying Dylan that has a 25 QBR rating is not an NFL team. Listen to people say they have too much pride to admit they're wrong. Okay. If they had too much pride to admit they're wrong, please explain why they dehumanizing Shedeur if they just wrong and don't want to admit it. They don't have nothing to do with that. They keeping Dylan there, even though he's not good. Dylan could lose every game this season and they wouldn't care because that was planned. They don't care. They don't care. So Shiloh being out there, this is good. This is freeing for a lot of these players. I've seen Chidozie out there. Chidozie was in Vegas. I don't know where he was or what he was doing. I didn't know if he was going to the Versus, if he was speaking. Maybe he was at Complex Con. Chidozie has picked up the media trail. Yeah. He had a lot of fans. Screw the league. You don't need that. People were under Shiloh's comments because I saw when he had dropped it. And I went over and liked it. And somebody said, man, I just want to see Shiloh play football. You know how many comments they were immediately saying this is better? Talking about the physicality of the game and how negatively it affects your life. I'm like, he was just going to be on the practice squad anyway. This is better. I feel God cares about the fans and Shiloh to have Shiloh out here and not buried on the goddamn practice squad. That's good for people who don't have no name or no brand and they just want to get that check. Shiloh too good for that. And honestly, he don't even need to play football. He is already cemented as a legend. He actually has a leg up on the content because of the Sanders family. And them content creators know that too. So some of them are going to start getting jealous. They cool with it right now. But he already got 200,000 subs and they still trying to get there. Anytime you have 600,000 views in less than a week or two, come on now. This your lane. So I'm happy for the players coming out of Colorado to see Shiloh. Coach Prime need to bring Shiloh in. Bring Shiloh in to these players. Because, see, I thought about this, right? I caught a snippet of their conversation at Colorado. I don't really watch the videos like that where they be doing the practice because, hell, I got to get ready for my own stuff. And I think I heard Coach Prime talk about the next level. And I was like, that conversation not going to work for long. Let me tell you why. because these kids see what's going on at the next level. And I asked the question, when you go to college and you play football on your whole life and you good enough to get a scholarship, but you don't want to go to the next level, what's in between? Do you go to Coach Prime and say, look, coach, I know I'm talented. I know I'm a 5-star and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to ball out because I love to play ball and this could pay for my education and I'm going to do my content creation, but I want to go be a lawyer. It's going to be a lot more of that. And if Shiloh were to come in, they brought Shedeur in. Bring Shiloh in. If it hasn't happened, maybe it's happened, and I don't know. If you brought Shedeur in to talk to this team, instead of bringing Shedeur in to chide the team, bring Shiloh in to let the team know it's okay if the next level isn't what interests you, or if you don't make it. Shiloh could do a whole video about that, and people would listen. Because it's rare to see the former football players experience outside of these podcasters, and that's new too. You talked about you got cut. Talk about what it felt like. Talk about how you really feel. Like, you know, I'm on the fence. I could go back, but I really like this too. Be honest. When Shiloh was a kid, he said he didn't want to play football. He wanted to make music. God heard him, apparently. This is a good lane for Shiloh. Now, it's going to be some NFL people that don't want it to happen, but honestly, they over there digging in the dirt. They don't care. They showing you they don't care. Turn the TV off and stay home. Hell, go subscribe to Shiloh channel and get him the 300,000 subs, because that's what they don't want. They want you to be curled up on the couch crying, eating year-old ice cream with freezer burn on it. That's what they want. If I care more about digging in the dirt than I do about the defense for the Dallas Cowboys, why don't I just sell the Dallas Cowboys? Control. That's why. But you don't want to let it go. Because then they're going to be like Shiloh, and somebody else going to do something good with it, and I'm going to feel some kind of way. Right. Controlling. See, they tried to control Shiloh by kicking him out the league, and they thought he was going to curl up on the couch and cry himself to death. That's what they thought. But he out here making it rain with the content. They can't control that. But you best believe they're going to be like, don't invite Shiloh on none of these shows. But they'll invite Drewski, but not Shiloh. I love this for Shiloh. And I was like, man, if Shedeur was there, that place would be crazy. That it would just be crazy. And Shedeur going to get to a point. If he ain't there already, he like, shit, I'm finna go join my brother. Facts. He has endorsements. They're going to sit down. They're going to talk about how to keep it pushing. I mean, if Gunner can be signed by Adidas, then Nike should be just fine. Because I think Shedeur got more fans than Gunner. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. But the point is, Gunner has not played one snap of football. One snap of football. He ran a 5K. And he got an Adidas deal. So I'm just saying, young guys coming out of school, I don't care if you want to play football. I don't care if you want to play flag, you want to play touch. Hey, let them pay for your education, your master's too. Get that. Make sure you get that. Shiloh got his master's. If he wanted to go be a college professor, he could. Let them get that master's on their dime. Go out there and play football in college. Have fun with it. Get that master's on somebody else's dime so you ain't got to pay for it. Yeah. And then that brand that you built from senior high all the way to your master's gonna serve you well, because we gonna know who you are. And that's how you control your own narrative. So shout out to John. Facts. They're gonna be good without football, and Shiloh is the first example of seeing that. I loved his video. And one lady was like, "You Deion Sanders' son," and he was so funny. He's good with the questions. He's a natural. He was like, "Which son am I?" I would have never thought to ask that. I would have been like, I would have naturally thought she knew which son I was. She didn't. She thought he was Bucky. That was so funny. He was like, "Which son am I?" And she said, he said, "Am I Bucky or whatever?" And she said, "Bucky." And he was like, and everybody loved that because we know he's not Bucky. But Bucky got a whole shoot at Nike. Bucky got almost 1 million views and he don't play pro ball. People said Shiloh should pick up a camera. Ha ha. He got 3 people walking around with one. You see how that worked? People thought Shiloh going this route was demeaning. No, this the better route. Why do you think the NFL keep bringing all these people in rather than their own players? Because they famous. Is the goal to have CTE or to get the bag? To get the bag without CTE, without being dehumanized. Shiloh is winning. Believe me, he's winning. It said, I saw them folks bring up Shiloh's to counteract anything he does positive. Who was that, Miss Pamela? I didn't hear nobody ask you. Who was it? 12 is live on Twitch. Good. I'll go watch it later. Okay, awesome. If y'all want to go watch it. That's fine. I'll be here reading comments. It said the Not For Long League plus CTE. Right, Miss Pamela? That's too big of a cost to pay. It's like, I want to get the bag. But what did Shiloh say? You're going to get a concussion. They know this. That's why I'm like, Coach Prime, bring Shiloh in. Let Shiloh talk to these kids. And going in on the team, knowing everybody can't get to the next level like that, it's kind of not a good thing. Right? You got to meet people where they are. Okay, if only 1% out of this room going to the next level, them kids know that. They know it's DJ McKinney. They know it's Jordan Seaton. Who else is it? Oh, Marion Miller? Is anybody else? That's 3 out of 88. Time to change the speech. Everybody not going to play like they trying to get to the next level because they're not trying to get to the next level. And you can't be mad at that because you know all 88 of them are not going. Time to change the conversation because things are changing. What is my motto? The way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. That goes for Colorado football and kids playing football and trying to get to a league that isn't welcoming to Black players, whether it's Michael Parsons, Myles Garrett, Dak Prescott, or Shadeur Sanders. So you can't say this was just about Shedeur. Hell no. I thought people called out how Jerry Jones was mistreating what's his name? Michael Parsons, because he cozied up to Michael Parsons to try to manipulate him into taking less money. And because Michael Parsons wanted him to talk to his agent, which is one of the best agents in the business. But then on the other hand, well, Shedeur should have had an agent. I said, why? Because Jerry Jones don't even want to talk to Michael Parsons' agent. That just lets you know they just say anything. There's no professionalism there. There's no standards. There's no ethics. Just a bunch of money. That's it. And it's weaponized. And what the Black players walk away with is CTE, identity crisis, short lifespan, or I don't know, soulless, possibly. I don't know, trying to cope. It ain't good. Because it's funny how the Black players don't get invited to come back, right? You got to be cherry picked to get on the desk. And then you got to get up there and lie about people that look like you. Shout out to Chris Canty for calling out Dylan for what it really is. Yes, thank you. It said, like they did Kyrie Irving when he was when he liked the post. Same thing. And it's funny that Stephen A came out and finally admitted that Kyrie was right. I'm like, you know what? I know why they hired you. I see why they hired you. So now he running something that says, if you think you can go toe-to-toe with me on a sports conversation, I'm hosting to have people come on. I'm like, I'm good. I probably could, but I'm good. I see straight through that. I'm like, you need to redeem yourself. That's what it is. So no. Use somebody else. It said, I think they're going to keep rolling Dylan out till he get hurt. Right. I agree with you, Young. That's the only way Shedeur going to get in there. And Bailey Zapp is already activated, right? So does he have to be activated every week? Because if he doesn't have to be activated every week, then they just going to go to Bailey Zapp. They have worked too hard to let Shedeur get to QB1. They devalued him in the draft. And if he balls out, that's not going to look good for the draft. It's going to take a miracle from God. I ain't going to lie. We don't know what that's going to look like because God's ways are way, way higher. But I bet if everybody stayed home, it'll happen. But everybody ain't going to stay home, which is why they don't care. Some people just got to go there like they don't have nothing else to do with their life. And hey, you know, it is what it is. There's a famous skater. I follow her. Y'all know who she is. Young black woman, but she's French. And she was athletic. And she did a backflip. And even though her scores were the best, they still gave the medal to this young Asian girl because she appeared European, because the skater I'm talking about is brown skin. She's African, but she was adopted by white people from an orphanage. She was raised French. She's not African American. Totally different vibe. But regardless of what she was raised, she knew at the age of 12 or 13, she was the best skater. She knew she deserved that medal. And they gave her a lesser medal than the one she earned. And every time I see that post, it breaks my heart because she was crying and she snatched it off. Because she was too unapologetically black. That term didn't even exist back then. Because she's brown skinned. Because she probably grew up in Africa and was adopted by some white people who grew up in a white world. That wasn't enough for them because of the optics. And I keep trying to impress upon y'all. That's what's happening to Shedeur. The optics. Why do I love Jordan Love? Why do I like Dak? Why am I okay with Pat Mahomes? But I don't like Jalen Hurts. That's why I say, does Jordan Love have two black parents? Because, you know, what's going on here? You have to ask. But look at who they beat up on. Lamar Jackson, Cam Ward, Shadeur Sanders. All them brothers got something in common. They are heavily melanated. I can't remember her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I follow her. She went on with her life. She married somebody. Yes, he's white, because she grew up French around a lot of white people. But the point is, even with her being raised by white people, growing up in a white world, all they saw was her black skin. And they didn't want her to win it. They didn't want her to be a pioneer in skating, to raise the bar for athleticism. So they went with the player and they said it out loud that was less athletic. Shedeur is a warrior out there on that field, like a chef just cooking it up. They know Dylan and the likes of Dylan's can't keep up with that. They know Tyler Shaw can't keep up with that. They hoping and praying Jackson Dart can keep up with it, but they still propping him up too. But that's what they want. I say let them have it and go start your own. Take your athleticism with you. Sup, chat? How you doing? Hey, Tuna, how you doing? Thank you for the numbers on how many times Justin Fields was sacked by team. I appreciate that, Tuna. Thank you so much. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? It said, because like Barry said in the very beginning, nothing will be given, and it not going to name Shedeur starter right up and down. An act of God will going to happen. It's going to have to be an act of God. When they said nothing was going to be given, they were trying to parrot off the entitled trope that the owners use to justify taking Shedeur off the board, which means Haslam is a part of that, right? Barry think he's covering for his boss. They didn't mean we gonna cheat you, because see, that's different. That's different, right? When they say nothing will be given, I mean, you could maybe make a joke out of it and say, damn, they meant even if he earned it, he wasn't gonna get it, right? You could do that. But at the same time, they cheating him right in our face, right? And it's too many people standing around watching the house catch on fire, trying to figure out how the fire started, rather than trying to put out the fire. Right about, I don't give a flying, Shedeur doesn't play. Right. A lot of people have made it to that point. They're like, I don't even care if he don't play for them. Now wait till he gets to that point. And he might get to that point, and then the door open, and he not going to look back, and we going to see him somewhere. Yeah. The path has already been laid out for him. God said, I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. Shilo is the older brother. He got burned after the father, Coach Prime. Shilo did. So he done went out here rather than cry on the couch and made a path that his brother can come right behind. And what did I say last week? I think we should get another Deion's Family Playbook 2.0. Well, maybe this is the 2.0 version. It's just content creation. Same thing. Shiloh saw a girl that kind of looked like Shalimar, and it was so cute. He was like, Shalimar. He just pretended that it was her, right? This total stranger, but it was cute. Maybe this is what I wish for, right? Maybe I'm in my own little universe, and this is what I wish for. Deion's Family Playbook to come back, and maybe it's going to happen when the NFL get tired of kicking on Shedeur like they are tired of football, and they want to go dig out here in the dirt, and they're going to find something else to do. So it's going to take God for Shedeur to play, or God ain't going to let Shedeur play because the Rams game. When Shedeur is protected. And if they ain't trying to get rid of Stefanski, he either going to have to go to another team, and if the owner's still colluded, I don't know if God going to let Shedeur waste his talents on the bench for 2 to 3 years, and I don't know. A lot of us were shocked that Shilo got cut. I was, because I know that they didn't penalize that other guy. I knew that they set him up. I hate that he got baited in, but if it didn't happen now, it would have happened later, meaning they're not going to stop. That's what people don't understand. They're not going to stop. And the only way I agree to let you play is because I'm forced into it, just like I was forced to draft you. And that ain't working out for him, is it? So why would the last 4 games? Hey, Anita, how you doing? Thank you. I was talking about the article that you the video that you sent me earlier with the Black Harvard grad. Thank you so much, Anita. It said, I bet Shedeur said no, Shiloh. Oh, about Dylan? I don't know why, because it don't matter. It said, they just can't stand a confident black man. It's simple. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. Whether you confident or not, I can't stand to see you with the same money I make. I can't stand to elevate you above other white people. Do not forget 1932, the NFL kicked out and banned Black NFL players because random white people didn't have jobs, which meant they couldn't stand to see Black men thriving financially while they saw white people at the bus stop. Right. So confidence is irrelevant. When you're talking this kind of deep-seated racism, when you're talking plantation type racism, you got to go back to that mentality to understand what they are doing. They don't believe that Shedeur belongs as a quarterback in this NFL league in Cleveland. He maybe belong in Philly. He might belong somewhere else, but it could be Slim right now. Because just like the skater whose name I cannot remember, people said when she moved on, she defied them and they still punished her. And at the end of the day, she went on to have a normal life and got married, but they still cheated her. She never got her just due. They kept it from her at every point, even when she was injured. And she did her famous backflip because it was the last time she was going to ever skate. Even though she couldn't medal because she was injured. She still did her. And they still punished her for it. They never gave her her just due. You know what people say to summarize her career? Well, what they did was wrong, but it really brought a lot of eyes to see the bias in the sport. That's Shedeur. Because we have never talked about the NFL on this level. Colin Kaepernick was one thing, but this is a whole nother introspective look at, okay, this ain't gonna never be right. Because this is what they're doing to this one, this one, this one. We saw what happened with Kaepernick. We don't know what the hell was really going on in the league as a whole. We didn't know the 4 bullet points that Maurice Smith shared from his book, Turf Wars. Turf Wars hadn't even been written at the time. What we see now is like looking through 3D glasses to see what you can't see with the naked eye. And Shedeur could be just that. Purpose in the NFL, not to play, but to expose the bias in the sport and hopefully just take it out. Or to have people move away from it and go start their own. I can't say that part enough. Yes, Kevin is fine. I totally agree. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It said they want a great white hope. Yep, that's it. And at some point, they just gonna say it out loud. They getting close. People said they shocked after the Saints because Spencer Rattler was doing good. I said the Saints see what the Browns doing. They're the quarterback of preference, of choice. The Browns can get away with losing and fans still show up. So the Saints feel like they can do it too. Okay, let's see what happens. Because I don't think they have the same fan base. Yeah, it's wicked. That's basically it. And a lot of people didn't see that. It said, keeping it 100, Cleveland better have that staff problem fixed before Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, or it's going to be a blowout for sure. I don't even think they care. I really don't. And it seems like to me, they're prioritizing, is it Drake May above Josh Allen? That's what I'm getting. That's why I feel like the Browns didn't even try to win the game. You know they didn't. They was rolling with Dylan. And all they saying is we need to see more from Dylan. That just means we don't want to play for Shedeur. You know Dylan has a 25 QBR. And Haslam know there's nobody to hold him accountable. Remember, his brother was the governor of Tennessee. Believe me, if you can write a check for $1 million and get a $600 million bond for a stadium, you ain't worried about nobody checking you. And that's how they roll. They arrogant like that. They turned down a second round pick for Shedeur. I bet if they get a second pick back for Dollar General, Dylan go for sure. See, I don't maintain either Stefanski don't know what's going on or they playing in his face, because the only quarterback that really has a trade evaluation that could actually be traded should be waived, and that's Dylan. Dylan shouldn't even be traded to another team. They should just waive him. Like they waive, just bye. That's it. Appreciate you. Peace out. Right? Dylan is the one that actually has a trade evaluation. And I said at some point, Stefanski didn't know, supposedly, that they were getting rid of Flacco. I don't know if he knew or not. Flacco could have always been planning to move on because he left as a first-round pick and they sent a sixth with him. But we ain't seen Barry since, so I don't know. But I will say that he thought he wasn't making any changes at quarterback, and he had to, and he didn't know about Flacco. Now, I'm of the opinion that they're going to move him out for whoever it is the Mannies want to get ahead, because I feel like the Mannies going to pick the coach. They're going to put the coach in early. I think Andrew Berry probably heard he going to be replaced by one of the Mannings, Peyton Manning, and that's maybe why he quiet. And then they're going to get everybody set up, and then they're going to go draft the grandson. They're going to go draft their nephew. And Dylan is just going to keep the seat warm until then. Or they could draft another black quarterback and make his life hell. They could actually devalue Lenore Sellers because he got this concussion that pushed him down already in the rankings. I could see them drafting him late where Dylan is, and then coming up with an excuse to why he can't play. And they have Shedeur over there and Lenore Sellers and Dylan in front of both of them. Yeah, I can see it. Because the goal is cruelty. The goal is to draft to destroy. Yeah. Cleveland still wants anything. Yeah, they don't want Shedeur. That's facts. That's facts. They don't. That's why they were happy to trade Shedeur away to get the first pick in the draft for 2026, because they knew who was coming out of school. And if you look at that, if you factor in the whole Arch Manning coming out of school, then you knew who can we get this year that we could just kind of put to the side to save the seat for Arch when he come out. They've been saving this seat for Arch. These people don't play in year to year. They playing years out. So when they went and got Shedeur, when he went number 1 overall, ranked in college, they knew he cannot win the Heisman. He cannot stay number 1. That's where the guy that they didn't talk about, Cam, gets to number 1. And then look how they treating him. And I hate to say it, when you look at the situation between Cam and Shedeur, Cam kind of getting a beating right now because he thought some things that were incorrect. And Proverbs 3 says something about correction. That's what's happening to him. And then Shedeur is being spared because that could have easily been Shedeur. And God letting the Browns be stubborn because they wrong as hell. But letting them be wrong It's for Shadeur's protection and for God's glory, because why? We're finding out what it's really like. So Coach Prime need to bring Shilo in and talk about life after football or life instead of football at the next level. That is okay. And when you look at CTE and how the discrimination against Black players, regardless of position, and how many of them go broke, why bother? Nothing for you there that you can't do yourself. One player got a DUI. Yes, that's wrong. But why did he lose 40% of his salary? If you would have got a DUI on the street, you wasn't in the NFL, you just going to have to go to court, pay a fine, and keep it pushing. But to lose 40% of your salary? That's just because I don't want you with no guarantees. So that's what these voids are for. I mean, why? I told y'all, in about 5 years, 5 to 10 years, people going to be like, you still in the NFL? Like you crazy. Yeah, because we already on that path right now. We're already on that path, whether you know it or not. Shilo is basically showing you. And they're going to be people go, well, you know, he's the Sanders and his name was already up there. Isn't that what Cam thought about Shedeur? And Cam probably like, well, at least I'm getting paid. You are. I hope you don't get, CTE, because he been sacked over 25 times and he ain't even played 9 games yet. And then he got to deal with whether he knows it or not. They not just coming at him in the media. He feeling something in Tennessee too. That's stressful. Stress, cancer. That's why if Coach Prime get fired, it's a gift from God. Keep it pushing. Take your lady out to dinner, because you can't handle this stress. Your body can't handle this stress. Don't be surprised. Just take the money and keep it pushing. If Shedeur was really a 5th round pick and the Browns got offered a 2nd round pick, that says it all. Right. And to be honest with you, Andrew Berry said Shedeur was going to outproduce his draft stock. My question was, and when is that going to be? Because right now they're trying everything. And this is what makes me think they don't even like Andrew Berry. They know Andrew Berry said that. They know they don't want Shedeur to play. So Andrew Berry not even on the same page with Haslam, and Stefanski. Stefanski don't want Shedeur to play at all. But what did the GM say? He gonna outproduce his draft stock. Ain't but one way for him to do that, and that's to play. And then Andrew Berry is now MIA. If Shedeur don't play good, he don't even need to help them do nothing. Just stay on the bench and collect them checks and hang out with your friends up there. And be prepared to be on the move or be prepared to be on the bench next year. They have done too much to say he wasn't good, whether he wasn't of good character or whether he wasn't good on the field, to the point they lied on this kid, point blank, period. And nobody has suffered consequences for it, which means they haven't let up. Let them think they're doing something. Why God protect you on the bench from them, because you will get sacked and they will all laugh again, just like the Rams game, and Tony is gone. So I don't know. If it happened again, all the players should run on the field. But are they going to do that? It's a lot to put up with, isn't it? It's a horrible way to live your life. Most of the owners see themselves simply as plantation owners. That's the game they're playing. That's the game they're playing. Why would you go dig in the dirt for $100 billion that you can export to other countries and make back 5 times that or 10 times that? So you damn near a trillionaire, right? And you care about this little football team over here that maybe cracks $1 billion. Maybe. The Browns haven't even cracked $1 billion yet, but they trying to be like Jerry Jones. And whatever he could do, that's what they emulate. He don't care about his players. We don't care about our players. He out here digging in the dirt. Let me go find some dirt to dig in. Why would I be bothered with that? Because this is where I get my fix, to feel like I'm better than, and to make Black people look like they better than. Why else? It's a toy to give to his kids to play with. You would think He be so happy digging in the dirt, flying around in his helicopter, which I've seen, by the way, gorgeous up front. To the point where he don't even want to be bothered with this no more. But he can't even take his hands out the football pot to go commit 100% to find the gas in the ground. Maybe if he dedicated himself to that and let somebody else run the team, but I can't relinquish control. What does that tell you about a person that got to control every single thing? People like that ain't no fun to be around. But that's who that is. You don't even care about this. You telling us out loud. You reckless with your words. You telling all them players out there that's busting their butt physically that you don't care nothing about, that you don't care about this. I said it. He ain't trying to get to the Super Bowl. You know what Jerry Jones, Turf War said Jerry Jones was interested in? Selling out season tickets. Who else y'all know sells out season tickets and have no reason to sell out season tickets? The Browns. And I've said this before. The Browns fans that really think they waiting on something better go talk to the Dallas Cowboys fans and ask, what have the Cowboys won since 2016, since the Star opened? What have they won? And if you think Cleveland is trash now, wait till that stadium open. He gonna be just like the Jets owner. Oh, I'm raising the prices and I don't care. Because they think they got y'all. Why do these people think they got y'all for a football game? I would think that y'all having some kind of shareholder meetings and everybody get $100,000 the way y'all showing up for this team who don't give a damn about y'all. I'm talking about the Browns, not us, the Browns fans. I would think that that's what's happening. I would think the reason why all these radio stations and Mary Cabot and all of these people in Cleveland that keep putting out these stories, trying to trash Myles Garrett, trying to trash Shedeur rather than hold Stefanski accountable or Haslam accountable. I would think that there's a Christmas party and all of them get a check for $100,000 for their efforts. I would like to think that that's the reality. Please tell me that that's the reality. Because if you're doing this for free, the stadium is just full of crazy people. Then that's all that means. They done found 64,000 crazy people. And they must be giving them half off prices. It said, you're right. You can't predict these games because they be behind the scenes plotting on the fans for a whole lot. Right. I don't know about the betting apps. I don't bet like that. I don't know what they got going on. But I know one thing. The NFL is supposed to be competitive. There's supposed to be 32 teams competing against each other for talent and to try to get to the game with the Super Bowl. That is not what's happening. That is not what's happening. They look at I know they got a board somewhere, digital, I'm sure. They got all 32 quarterbacks on it with the logos by it. And they see who's who and by conference. And they're like, okay, we want it to be Josh Allen and who can we get? Baker Mayfield or something like that, right? I'm just guessing. I don't know who's where, right? But then when the season starts, they already finagled Daniel Jones over here. And then it turns out, he turned out to be good. So wait a minute. So whoever is under Daniel Jones that they thought they wanted, don't worry about him. Just get Daniel Jones up here. Daniel Jones and Drake May. Well, what about Josh Allen? Yeah. Drake May. Let's get Drake May. Yeah, just get the younger guys in because then I get the younger crowd in. The younger white crowd will come watch us play. Nope, they playing pickleball. So that's how they think. And you know how you could see it. All you got to do is listen to the reporters. They talk about the same thing. They all repeating the same thing. Drake May, Drake May, Drake May, Drake May. Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones. But they have never said that Daniel Jones took 6 years and no other quarterback could get 6 years to get it right. They're not going to even talk about that because the NFL owns 10% of ESPN, which controls the narrative. And NFL on CBS and all these other little ones, they trying to catch up. So they just willing to be salacious. And that means trash Shadeur Sanders for clicks. It's all garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. I've said it. The Sanders are too good. I know I said that. I know some of y'all heard me say that. The Sanders are too good for the NFL. I said it today. The NFL is AZZ. And here Jerry Jones is finally saying out loud what people have said for years. I ain't worried about the damn Cowboys. I ain't trying to fix that. I'm trying to get this $100 million out the dirt before I expire. He's 83. We don't know how long he gonna be of sound mind. I'm not sure he really is. To say that's reckless, but he don't care. And they love to say older people do not care. They have no filter. They'll say any damn thing and they don't have no consequence for it and they don't care. And that's how he acts. That team is a toy for his family, a toy to play with people's lives. That's it. But as long as players keep signing up to be played with, then that's what it's going to be. They are really hyping up Carly Ursay. Yeah, and I already explained what that's supposed to be. That, an owner that cares about the team, that really know what's going on. Translation. Most owners didn't know about what was going on with Shedeur, so they couldn't have took him off the board. They ain't really clue anything to shield these owners. Because Carly Ursay was the owner when they brought Daniel Jones over from Minnesota and moved Anthony Richardson out the way, incentivized Daniel Jones. And do you hear her? Is there any conversation to fire Daboll if he ruined Daniel Jones? But they all in on this. It's all a dog and pony show. And one of them players went and put her on his shirt. I was like, oh, Lord. Okay. It's all a show. It is. All of it. Every last one of them know what's going to transpire. Understand this, right? Magic Johnson is part owner of the Washington Commanders. If I can sit up here and say that they're going to say when we get to Jaden Daniels' sophomore season, is he having a sophomore slump? And it actually happens. You don't think he know what's going on, or he too busy? I like Magic Johnson, but a lot of the black owners, that's why I asked y'all yesterday, who y'all think they're going to get for a black owner? And what was my answer? Who it is that they can control. They don't want an owner who's going to see Shedeur being mistreated to say something. They want an owner that they can razzle and dazzle with the money, because it's good money, and shut the hell up while I cheat these black people that look like you. I have a GM that does it. I have a limited partner that does it. I have coaches on the side. I have players that I have controlled. Shadeur Sanders is finding out who his friends are and what it really is. The ghost of Shedeur Sanders. Yep. It's going to happen. It says Shedeur will be drafted. It will be traded. All he has to do is request a trade. Okay, let me clarify something on that. Stop telling Shedeur to ask for a trade if you don't know what happens to black quarterbacks that ask for a trade. I'm going to give you two names. Deshaun Watson is one. And y'all going to be like, but Shedeur not doing that. No. But did we know Myles Garrett had 8 speeding tickets, and didn't they make him appear reckless when he really was swerving from a hit of deer? Point is, I'm going to manufacture something if that's what I got to do. The other one, Shedeur was already on this path. Terrell Pryor. Let me tell you about that. Terrell Pryor played for the Raiders. Don't know where they were at the time. I'm going to assume they were in Oakland. Came out of Ohio State, 6,000 yards or something crazy. In other words, he was good. Dual threat, mobility. At a time where all the owners, I want one of them. And Terrell Pryor gets selected from Ohio State to go in a supplemental draft because somebody got a tattoo at a discount and the NCAA slapped his hand because NIL didn't exist. So he had to go through a supplemental draft. Was humiliating. But he went to the Raiders. Now, he was out there balling. But they said he was running too much. Remember, when the dual threats came along, there were people that felt threatened that didn't like dual threat quarterbacks. Jeff Fisher was one of them. You know who else doesn't like dual threat quarterbacks? Stefanski. But Shedeur is not a dual threat according to the Browns. And he don't like him either. So Stefanski don't like black quarterbacks because we have standards for the position. So Terrell Pryor playing for the Raiders, running around, throwing touchdowns, got some damn good highlights. They benched him. Now, this is where the Shedeur part come in. They benched him for undrafted free agent. Who did the Browns interview last week? An undrafted free agent. What is Dylan? An undrafted free agent. See, what y'all don't know is That's what they want him to do. They want him to ask for a trade. That's what they want him to do. So Terrell Pryor asked for a trade. No team needed a damn good quarterback. And basically, they told him point blank, period. If you're going to survive in this league, if you're going to be traded, it's going to be at wide receiver only. Now, if y'all think they making Shedeur life hell, I suggest you go study every last black quarterback going up to Marlon Briscoe in Denver. See the difference between Marlon Briscoe and Shedeur, other than Denver and Cleveland? They both are black quarterbacks. They both are good. Denver told Marlon Briscoe point blank, period. You're good, but we don't want you to be our quarterback. The Browns have showed Shedeur the same thing. You're good. We know what he's going to do. We know what he's about. We don't want you to be our quarterback for the same reason. Like it's 1968. And Shedeur is breaking barriers, but he is. And what barriers is Shedeur breaking? Just like the skater whose name I can't remember that y'all know, and I'm going to figure it out and put it in the comments. She brought athleticism to the sport. What does Shedeur bring to the sport of football that the NFL will be threatened by? Put it in the comments. While y'all do that, I'm going to get the skater's name. What does Shedeur bring to the sport of football that the NFL will be threatened by so much that they would devalue him, ostracize him, humiliate him, and show him every day, we don't value you as a quarterback. We know you're good. We don't care. We don't want you to be our quarterback. What is it? While I look up this skater's name. French figure skater Surya Bonalé, Surya Bonalé, was known for her incredible athletic ability and was penalized by judges who were critics of her athletic skating style and her less than European or non-European look. Many people say she was cheated out of medals due to unfair judging throughout her career. She was. They cheated her every inch of the way. They never stopped. Never. Just like the Browns or cheated Shedeur every inch of the way. And they are not stopping. I'm not going to say they're never going to stop because clearly God opened this door. And I don't know what's going to happen. I ain't going to never speak for God because I can't tell you. But I know God opened that door. I know just like Surya Bonalé, the bias in the sport is being exposed. I know that just like Bonalé, they were threatened by her athleticism. What is it the NFL is threatened by that Shedeur brings to the sport that they refuse to let him get out on the field right now? It has nothing to do with his father. I think y'all have figured that out. It's not just because his last name is Sanders. I'm going to the bottom to see what y'all say. I'm going to the bottom of the comments to see what y'all say because I asked the question. So I want y'all to answer it. The skater is Surya Bonalé. Yes. So let's see who answered the question. All right. So I don't think anybody knows. So I'm going to answer the question. What does Shedeur bring to the NFL? Just like Surya Bonalé, who was bringing athleticism to the game. She's also black. She brought her black skin too. Understand, it ain't just the athleticism. What comes with the athleticism? The black skin, the melanin. They didn't want that. Even though Surya Bonalé was raised by white people, she was an orphan. She was adopted by white people. She's French. They still didn't want a black woman leading the skating competition. They didn't want that, right? They didn't want black people coming into the sport and being the best. So they use the code. It's the athleticism. Well, when Shedeur went to Cleveland, they said they knew exactly who he was. Andrew Berry said that Shedeur had a retro style of QB play, which meant he outdated. But then we watched him play for the Panthers. And he has no retro style. Yes, he's mobile. He was always mobile. So it proved that Andrew Berry was wrong back then, right? So what happens if, why is it they don't want Shedeur to do what Saria Bonnerly was doing? Because they're treating Shedeur the same way they treated Saria Bonnerly. They both are heavily melanated Black people. We got 16 Black quarterbacks, so, you know, what are they threatened by? Young players coming in demanding better, who become stars of the team, and that would give them leverage, whose last name is Sanders, but it could be Brown, and his father is also NFL legacy, and that would give him even more clout. And then he went over all of the fans, and I would have no leverage to control anymore. That could be one reason why he'll never play, possibly. Or they'll let him play, and like Cam Newton, he'll still get waived and nobody will want him, and he'll just go on with his life like Saria Bonnerly. That's very possible. But here's the thing. It's nonsensical. Why? Because the class of 2026 is already preparing to come out in the draft. And we can probably say beyond a shadow of a doubt that everybody coming out to the NFL has NIL in 2026. That everybody coming out in 2026 is young. That everybody coming out in 2026 probably got a lot more confidence than the class of 2025. And they're going to want better. And it's going to be tougher to control them. So if I throw that out, all that's left is the Sanders family football legacy is not preferred, but the Manning's family football legacy is what we want to feed off of. That's the threat. Why you think they kicked Shilo out? Why you think they trashed Coach Prime? It's not just because they are Sanders. It's because the three of them will compile a football legacy in the NFL that people will go on to talk about for decades. And they don't want that. They want you to talk about the Mannings. Whether you want to or not, that's who I'm going to push on you. That's it. Cam Scatterboo was out for the season because of an injury on Saturday. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see what happens to them now. They took her backflips because the others couldn't do it, and they told her it was too dangerous, right? And they cheated her. And she was young, and she was human, right? She's young. She's human. She knew she was being cheated. She took that medal off, and she was crying. I was like, that just broke my heart because they were cheating her. And they kept showing the girl they gave the medal to, and the look on her face was like, I can't even blink my eyes right now. But did she say anything? Mm-mm. It's all set up for Buffalo and Denver. Buffalo and Denver, the Rams and Detroit Lions. What you mean by that, Turner? It said Oklahoma quarterback, Miami quarterback, and Georgia quarterback. What you talking about? Let us know what you're talking about. Celebration Bowl, December 13th, Mercedes-Benz. I think I'm going to that. Prairie View versus Delaware State. I think I'm going to that. Oh, you think Prairie View going to win the SWAC over Jackson State? Okay, all right. That's because I'm looking. Y'all know I was Prairie View. I'm looking. But since I'm on this side of the river, in Mississippi, I root for Alabama State. And they got a hell of a quarterback, just in case y'all don't know. Last name is Body, I think. Andrew Body or Troy Body or something like that. $40 million, basically. Debbie Thomas. I don't know much about her story, but I will look into it. Penny Toller. Caitlin Clark's 101. I don't know who Penny Toller is either. Who is that? The skater is Saria Bonnerly. That is her name. Digital betting, I'm good. Yep, that's what's ruining the sport. It said, I'm with the subcontractor and we got a project on part of the new stadium. A Super Bowl is coming. Okay, Selmo. Selmo, we happy for you personally, but we don't know, right? After 3 years, Shedeur will get traded. Let's see if he make it to 3. They need to start their own league. Hey, BJ, these people are evil and would allow him to get injured like Antonio Brown, or push the narrative that he was no Dylan Gabriel and probably should have gone undrafted. Hell, they already pushing that narrative. Earlier this week, they were saying, well, Dylan is bad, so Shedeur must be worse. Yep. It didn't feed off. It didn't thrive. But that's the narrative the Minions were pushing Monday or Tuesday of this week. What is it, Thursday? It's officially Thursday, I think, now. So the narrative has gone from Shedeur isn't any better than Dylan, so let's get us a quarterback next year, to Myles Garrett should be traded. $4 million followers. Yep, he got 4 million followers, and that feeds into it. It says Shedeur will outplay their preferences, who will not be able to compete. That's true, but they got to let it play first. They got to let it play, and it has to be fair play. It wasn't fair play in the beginning of the Panthers game. Shedeur just outplayed what was happening. He would have to do the same, right? So Shedeur getting to play 4 games. 1, let's see if it happened. 2, is it going to be fair? I asked the question in a poll, and 97% of the people said they do not trust Kevin Stefanski to call a fair game that was planned for Shadeur Sanders' skill set and not Dylan's, with the intention to win. So if he the coach, I don't know, Are they going to cheat in front of the world again? Probably. Didn't they do it for the Rams game and get away with it? That could be too. Actually, that could be very true. Beach is saying that because Shedeur was born in America, meaning he's not, he didn't come and immigrate to the country from Africa or anywhere else, that they could be threatened, by Shedeur. I mean, African Americans are different, right? We're just different. Probably because of slavery, how things started, where Black people are now, whereas a lot of people come to America, unfortunately, are colonized. That's just what it is. And we're not colonized. We're not willing to submit like that. Like a lot of things that have already happened were to provoke Black people to get out in the streets and riot. Whereas God had Black people over here with boots on the ground, and now they over here singing Kehlani Folded, and they not interested. We don't even believe that that's something we should be doing because we voted. So we like, all right, So they really thought that that's what transpired, right? Oh, which means they don't know us like they think, right? They don't know us like they think they do. So I'm gonna go back in the middle because I was at the end. Yeah, we over 2 hours, but that's fine. I figured that was gonna happen. May God continue to bless and protect the Sanders family and the Colorado players. Yes, Tamika, I agree. Shedeur said he is missing being at home. Why is he not at home? Why is Shedeur not at home? I don't understand why he's not at home. Data analytics. Yes, thank you. If y'all really love sports and you involved in analytics, whether you have a passion for it or this what you do, all you got to do is start your own platform, use your data analytics software, and start making content about the stats. We don't have no Black people in that space. And we have too many Black people in tech not to have Black people in that space. Somebody. I'm just saying. It's just saying. Browns need to fire that head Kevin. And here's the thing: they need to replace their owner. That's what it is. Firing Stefanski is not the problem. The problem existed before Stefanski, and Haslam went and got Stefanski, and he's not moving off of Stefanski because Stefanski is doing exactly what Haslam wants. The problem is Haslam, and the Browns fans are starting. The ones who are have some intelligence, honestly, they're talking about it on X. They're saying, okay, so this is the problem. Yeah, it goes back to 2012, right? And they know that. And that's one problem. Here's the other problem. Half their fan base have the same ideology as Kevin Stefanski, as Haslam. Yeah, that's the other problem. See, a lot of fan bases, you're not going to have 60 to 70% of the people racist. You're going to have that. But that's not the majority of the teams out there, unfortunately, for the NFL. It's not. That's how they know, let me go get these Why would I discriminate against the players, but I'm gonna run over here and get these black content creators? Black people not crazy at all. That's like a lot of NFL fans say they're not watching no more, the white ones, because they mad because Bad Bunny is doing the halftime show. A lot of white people want to go back to want to bring country. Why they don't never get the choice of country music for the halftime show. These are all valid conversations that have been happening. And you would think that that's what it is. And they don't want that. They want to cater to us. They don't know us like they think we do. It said like they think they do. It said Browns got 1 and 12. They still got to justify the Dilla pick because it's going to clearly say to the world that they collectively colluded against Shedeur. Here's the thing. You can say that. You can say that. But explain to me how that argument justifies Kevin Stefanski dehumanizing Shadeur Sanders as if he's not human, and Haslam allowing it, and intimidating Jerry Jeudy to the point that Flacco, that's probably why he was like, I'm out. To the point, Huntley don't want to come back. Deshaun Kaiser going 0-15. Deshaun Watson staying injured and the insurance company paying his salary. The argument about them having too much pride does not justify and doesn't even speak to why they are dehumanizing a player just because you made a mistake. You ain't got to dehumanize Shedeur. That don't have nothing to do with it. Dehumanizing Shedeur is cruelty. And that is the point. To be cruel is the whole goal. Hold the Shedeur back behind Dilla so he don't get on the field. That's not Kevin Stefanski's call. That's ownership. Dehumanizing Shedeur is Stefanski, because that's who you see doing it. The owner's hiding behind him. Because cruelty is the point. When people decide Stefanski is being mean on purpose, dehumanizing Shedeur on purpose, not just because he doesn't like him, but because he's racist, because he's a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns, then maybe we'll get somewhere. That's the problem. People can't figure out. They too busy watching the house burn down, trying to figure out what happened to it rather than putting the fire out. Fire Kevin Stefanski. The NFL is all about image. Yeah. Until today. Until Jerry Jones said the reason, this is why I'm talking to you rather than trying to fix the defense for the Cowboys. Boy, that's reckless. That's reckless because that's telling these players, you can go out here and get CTE all day. I don't even care. That's reckless. That's reckless. That's reckless. I hate to tell y'all, but for a corporation to say something like that, that you don't care about the employees, you don't care about trying to fulfill your mission statement or whatever, that's reckless. Once Shedeur leaves the NFL, I'm gone for good. I lost interest after Kaepernick, right? And a lot of us came back with Shedeur, which means there's something God wants us to see. Tamika, they're not going to fire Stefanski. He's doing the dirty work. That's what I keep telling people. I said, now, if they fire him, they've been playing in his face because they want to move him out to get in somebody for the Mannings. But if the Manning kid not coming out to 2027, Stefanski's job is safe. So I agree with Tina. I haven't watched one NFL game yet. What? Okay. So how do you keep up with what's going on? Tamika and Tina having a conversation about karma and God and what's gonna really happen. All right, ladies, we get it. We get it. We get it. All right, they landed on the same page. They landed on the same page. They landed on the same page. All right. It said they only remember the Rams game. Right. And that's what I mean by when somebody was saying they were supposed to be debated on the 92 show that the one guy who was arguing on the Shedeur side was saying, well, I'm curious. I want to see what he could do. That is so disingenuous. You already saw what he could do. These people be playing in y'all face. I'm telling you right now. That whole Carly Ursey thing coming down there with a notepad, being an owner that's vested, that's interested, even though she allowed Daniel Jones 6 years in to boot a black quarterback out the way when 17-32 was a priority and they set Anthony Richardson up to get hurt? I bet Anthony Richardson know what time it is. At least I hope he do. I hope for his sake he does. Hey, how you doing, Freeman? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? When he was talking to Shaq's son, it made me think of Wayne's daughter. She interviews kids so to the music industry. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I like that. I will say that. Let me see if I have that one. The part about the clip with Shilo and Shaq's son, those two could have something because I know Shaq's son has a podcast. In fact, Shaquille's son, I don't think I have it. Oh, I know somebody sent it to me though. Hold on one second. Donald Muhammad, who's in our comments. I think I saw him. Maybe he sent me a message. Hold on one second. Message. Nope. I don't know. Somewhere. Anyway, the conversation with Shilo and Sharif O'Neal. They had a damn good conversation. I think those two, they could have a podcast, y'all. They could have a podcast. Oh, look, somebody who is this? I'm gonna share this picture with y'all real fast. Did this happen already? Do y'all remember when the Saints had the bag, the brown paper bag? Did the Browns ever do the brown paper bag on their head? Does anybody know? We just talking. I'm just going through the comments. The show was good. If you missed it, watch the replay. Yeah, but the one with somebody, why do they keep trying to trade Myles Garrett? I don't know why they still trying to trade Myles Garrett. That's crazy. That's insane. All right, let me share this with y'all. Do y'all remember the Saints? They had like some memes where they had the brown paper bag on their head and they were called the Aints. That's what somebody is saying. I'm wondering if the Browns already did something like that because that's what they had an image of. Like instead of the Browns, here it is right here. The Browns, instead of being called the Aints, it's called like the brown paper bags. Yeah. So see, this is the thing, right? They'll go to a game and pay money, maybe because they already had season tickets and they can't cancel, and they wear the bag over their head. If you absolutely have to go, you already bought the ticket, I say screw this. I say sell them tickets to the opposing team. Sell them tickets. That's what the Packers fans did. The Packers fans sold their tickets to the Detroit Lions fans. And people were upset because they said there's a 50-year wait limit to get Packers season tickets. So I don't know if it was an economic situation, but for Browns fans who not down with what's happening, who are disgusted by the Browns being okay to lose, not offering a good product, but expecting you to pay good money for it, instead of showing up with this bag on your head, just leave the seat empty or sell the ticket to the opposing team. So there's no Browns fans there. It's just a sea of the opponent's color, like green, if it's the Jets. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm beginning to believe the NFL Cleveland Browns underestimated Browns fans coming together with Shadeur Sanders fans to see that Shedeur gets his chance to lead the Browns. So Shams, you're saying that you feel like there's enough Browns fans out there that they want to see Shedeur play? Is that what you're saying? And if you're on the ground or feel free to share because I haven't seen that, but we don't see the Browns fans. We see the Browns minions. And the minions are pushing a narrative that they don't know what Shedeur could do, so they could just get their quarterback next year because Dylan was drafted ahead of Shedeur. So if Dylan is bad, then so is Shedeur. Why y'all letting the Browns fans, the media, talk for y'all? Like, y'all don't have no just regular Browns people that are podcasters that's not hooked up with the team? Like, just some random people that just give a damn. Y'all don't have that? If so, drop me they at so I can look at their channel and get the real deal. Like in Atlanta, it's just this dude. He just go to the games and he just go live and he be telling us like he's not associated. He don't have on no badge. He just in his regular chair. It's just a regular person, like a real fan. Do the Browns? Who is that for the Browns that is not trying to impress the Browns, that's not part of the Minions group, that's not going to be at the Christmas party or not trying to be at the Christmas party, that has a true podcast. I haven't seen it yet. Let me know. I would love to hear what a real person is saying. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tina. Oh, okay. Wow. How do you even know about what Shilo got going on like that? Saria Bonnerly. Yep, that's her name. Thank you, Anita. Anita said thank you. It says Sashi was responsible for drafting Myles Garrett. Haslam fired Sashi because he didn't want him involved in the next draft. Sashi is the Black Harvard grad we were talking about. Anita was giving us some more background on how he got fired. Yep. Saria Bonnerly, the French skater. So for you, those of you that's just not joining us, okay, you might want to start this over from the beginning, but I'm gonna say this part and then we're gonna get ready to get out of here. Saria Bonnerly is a Black French skater. She grew up in an orphanage, I'm assuming in Africa, I don't really know, somewhere. And she was adopted by white people. She grew up around all white people. In fact, she is now married to a white man. So as they say, she grew up in a white world. That's basically how they describe her. So they put her in figure skating, right? So she's obviously very athletic, powerful legs. She did the back jumps. She brought athleticism to the sport of skating. And they didn't like that. And the reason I brought her up is because I see a parallel for what's happening with Shedeur. And my question to the audience tonight was, just like Saria Bonnerly brought athleticism to the sport and melanin. Let's get that straight. Melanin they said she didn't have the European look. So the rules is they cheated her because of her athleticism. But in the reality, it's documented. It was on my stories yesterday. They cheated her because she didn't look European. It's because she's Black. It's because she's heavily melanated, right? And my point is to us that's waiting on seeing Shedeur play, and we see every time he get close to the pen, they move it, right? Whether it's they bring in Kirk Cousins, Matt Jones, or Bailey Zapp, or undrafted free agent, which is what I was telling you about Terrell Pryor. They did that to him, right? Shedeur can't play in front of Dylan. But if you're a Black quarterback, an undrafted free agent can block you. It has happened before, and that's exactly what they're doing to Shedeur. So I see the parallel between Saria Bonnerly being a beautiful brown-skinned melanated woman who brought athleticism and Black skin to the skating world. And they denied her in her face as a preteen. She might be 12 or 13. And they gave her a lesser medal and cheated her out of the gold because she was Black. And they hid behind, we don't want the athleticism. That's exactly what the NFL is doing right now. We don't want Black quarterbacks' athleticism anymore. But Shedeur was supposedly not a dual threat, which comes with the athleticism, and they didn't want him either. Because you don't want Black quarterbacks. So my question is, what does Shedeur, like Saria Bonnerly, bring to the sport that the NFL is threatened by, so much so that they would cheat him his entire career, and he would retire without a true fair opportunity? Because it could happen. Young, wealthy, famous. Shedeur brings leverage to the NFL. They couldn't tell you that at the draft. We don't want him because his skill set is outdated. They don't want Lamar Jackson because he's a dual threat. They're trying to turn Josh Allen into a pocket passer, which is Shedeur. But they don't want Shedeur. So it's not his skill set. They told you, we know what Shedeur is. We know what he's going to come in here and do. But it don't matter because we don't want him to be our quarterback. Shedeur brings leverage. And you know what part of his leverage is? His 4 million fans. That's what Shedeur brings to the table that would provoke the NFL to cheat him his entire career, shorten his career, and boot him out because he brings leverage. You know what Myles Garrett has, which is why they're trying to trade him? He has leverage. He likely has a guaranteed contract that's ironclad. They can't do shit to him. So they want to trade him. So they want to bench Shedeur because he has leverage and he's black. They want to trade Myles Garrett because he has leverage. You know who else has leverage right now? Russell Wilson. Which is why he could say and clap back at Sean Payton. What they gonna do? I'm sure his $10 million contract for 1 year is guaranteed. That's what they don't want. You to have leverage. Cam Ward has leverage. He got a fully guaranteed $48 million contract, but they don't care about the money part. We pay money to people all the time and bench them. That's facts. Lamar Jackson was the MVP. He's well paid. They don't want him either. But what they can't control is the leverage that Shedeur has. That if Saria Bodley had 4 million fans to speak up for her, she would have got that damn medal. But then again, Jordan Childs got cheated and she had maybe 4 million fans, or maybe she didn't. And she still ain't got her medal. But the fight over here for Shadeur Sanders is different than Jordan Childs. It's different. Because Shadeur Sanders' 4 million fans are plugged in daily and have social media to use their voice. And some of his fans are like the Nike, Gatorade. A lot of people that these people, the Stefanskis, know, they just choosing to ignore them. Even Tony Grossi has come on board about Shedeur. That's different. Their fights came and went. Jordan Childs, Saria Bodley came and went. And it changed their careers. Shedeur still has an opportunity with 4 million people plugged in, going at the NFL, that we actually see, whether you know it or not, imploding. You just don't know it's imploding yet. You'll know when the last bit of dirt hit the ground. But you know it's imploding because this year is mediocre. And it's true what was said in the comments. All the teams that passed on Shedeur are in a chaotic spin cycle. The reason why the Browns aren't caught up in that spin cycle just yet is because Shedeur is still there. But you let him go and watch what happens. The richest owner is more interested in digging in the dirt than he is getting the defense together, and had the audacity to say that out loud, which is reckless. That's the beginning of the end. Because just like the Browns are still moving forward with Dylan and they losing and they don't care and they making excuses for Dylan and not trying to fire Stefanski, the Saints went and copied the same thing and benched Spencer Rattler, who was working for them, to bring out Tyler Shaw, and they don't care what they fans think either. Leverage. That's why they don't want Shedeur. Yes, he's black with leverage. Let me make that clear. Because the Mannies have leverage, but they're white. And they fit. Shedeur doesn't fit. He doesn't fit their standard. And he's black. And he has leverage. They don't want that. And that's why they're going to do everything to either set him up to fail, or even if they let him play and ball out, they're not going to care because they haven't cared yet. And like we said, about 5 million people watched Shedeur ball out against the Panthers, and they still don't care. So that's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, what? What's tomorrow? Friday? Oh, okay, wait. Friday at 6 p.m. We have members only live stream tomorrow, and at 10:35 p.m. we go live just for everybody. So members, if you can't make it at 6, you can join us at 10:35. But if not, make sure you catch up on the members live stream. It'll be live. I think I already got the topics picked out. So we'll be back tomorrow. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. Hopefully, we're all aligned on the same page that the philosophy, the culture of the Browns is set by Haslam, who's hiding behind Stefanski, and the owners themselves are fully aware of what's happening, and they are looking the other way because they started this fight in the draft, and the NFL is dead set on not allowing Shedeur a true opportunity, and Dylan is just the prop to keep Shedeur from QB1. And when he does get to go out here and play his 4 games, if that happens, we have to look to see if they're going to set him up to fail, set him up to be injured, so they can continue to justify devaluing him by saying he's not that good and Dylan is better and worth keeping. That's it. I hope we all on that page. All right, everybody. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Shilo was a hit at Complex Con in Vegas this weekend at the same time that Grambling State beat Jackson State, which is Shiloh Sanders alum, and versus Cash Money versus Master P. And some say Master P won, but that's not the point. We'll get back to that. Okay, so Shilo ran into some of the biggest stars in hip hop, content creation, and sports. And Shilo, this is your lane, sir. Check out some of the hilarious clips that Shilo dropped. I could not wait for the video to post on YouTube, and it did not disappoint. Run over there and run Shilo up to 300,000 views while you're at it so we can get some more of this hilarity from Shiloh Sanders. Take a listen.
So you into collectibles?
Collectibles?
Yeah, sports cards. You know, you collect anything? You know?
I used to collect my dad's old baseball cards, sign them myself, and then sell them at school. Like,
So you
I was supposed to make it, but my parents, they said they don't want me to get a concussion. So,
the thing about football, bro, is like you're gonna get a concussion every game, bro.
for real?
Yes.
So how many concussions you got? Like 7?
Like I don't have CT or anything because I'm still smart.
Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.